It's the Stephanie Miller Show.
So I wanna say thank you, 'cause it makes me that much stronger. Makes me work a little bit harder. Makes me that much wiser. Thanks for making me fighter.
When Democrats got out there and we said that our democracy was really at risk, people were like, oh, Democrats, you're out there, you're gaslighting. It's not our democracy. Well, he did say he'd be a dictator on day one. Oh, Democrats, you know, it's just Trump. He just talks. Well, let me tell you something. He is doing more than talking.
Yep.
I need 1,000 more Jasmine Crockett's right now.
We
actually need a little more right this second.
We talked about Project 2025. We talked about the consolidation of power. We talked about how he wanted to be a king. We talked about in a democratic republic, that is not what it is. We have some sort of checks and balances, and he is doing everything that he can to get rid of those checks and balances. The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States.
Thank you. That's the way you message. Thank
we need
you,
about
Jasmine
400 more of her in the house.
Okay. Let us just start by saying we are just as freaked out and scared as you are. And I have to... Baby Bella, I'm sorry you have to start your career.
Badass
My
Bella.
life.
Badass Bella. She is. She's going to need to be badass.
Yeah.
I'm starting by outing us.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I'm blowing our whole...
Oh, please don't.
Chris lifted me up this weekend. I got knocked down. Chris lifted me up. Because we're going to have to do this for each other. I have it right here. I said, you mean the whole world to me? And you said, oh, me too, you. So you can't, it's in writing. I'm going to post it on social media. But seriously, so I tried to take a day off, a mental day that we all needed, right? Went for a great bike ride, had my friends over for pizza. So I didn't even see, I'm like, I can't do stories today.
Right.
So then in the middle of the night, I sent you 6,000 threads and...
It was 9 pages of
And you
threads.
were like, did you not... I sent you all these stories already, and I just said, I apologize, because I said I had to take a break. But then I texted you back, and I said, Chris, I'm really scared. I said, I'm actually scared, and I don't know how to make all of this funny. Like, this is the weekend it felt like it really stopped being anything funny. You know, we are in a full-on coup.
I don't think
you know what you
anything's been
did?
funny.
You Bella Carola'd me. You said, you can do it. You can do it, Steffi. Get up. We'll do it together.
I think I used an obscenity.
You did. Well, we always do that.
Okay. Anyway, you know.
I'm telling you, I believe children of the future. We're so excited about Badass Bella
are.
being. Because it is full on terrifying. I don't know about you, Chris. You were talking about having Canadian friends. Every family member, friend, everybody I know either texted or called me this weekend, freaking the out.
Yeah.
And you are. What can I say other than you are right? If you're not freaked out right now, you're not paying attention, and that's what when you get knocked down, you got to get back up. And if you need help from your friends like Chris, like I did, and you know, I try to lift people up when they're down.
Help in the future, so
Well,
take that.
You're generally of no help, but I just meant on this rare occasion. I'm kidding.
But like I said to you this morning when you walked into this room, he's already screwing things up. And people are taking notice. The market is going to tank.
I mean,
when
Chris,
it opens today.
There's people saying I'm more scared than after 9/11. It is, yes. You're talking. I mean, the Goldman Sachs people are betting that there's going to be a crash. There are people running to the bank to get their cash out. I'm like, this mother is going to cause bank runs, a depression, a stock market crash. God knows what. We're in a trade war already. Canada? We're blaming Canada? We're in South Park. We're getting booed. The United States, the national anthem got booed at a hockey game.
At the Toronto Raptors game. That's basketball.
Well, whatever. Something with a ball. Some sports ball.
Hockey doesn't even have a ball.
I didn't know.
Sports ball.
I know.
Okay.
I pucked up.
See
what I did there?
I kind of did.
I know.
Okay. That was iffy.
Okay. So because again, we always say, I don't know what's distracting from what. I'm going to say this: Elon Musk seizing the entire United States Treasury and our Social Security, Medicare payments. I'm going to say that should be job one right now, right? And this is where why? Because I get most of my news from social media first. Because I can't even do. I have to do some cable news because it's our job, but I don't have it on all the time. So this was whenever this was, I sent you this. Treasury Secretary gave representatives of the so-called Department of Government Efficiency full access to the federal payment system late Friday. The same day they purged the DOJ, the FBI, the media outlets have been kicked out of the Pentagon. I mean, this is the most rapid America shooting itself in I've ever.
In the D word?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This is we shot ourselves because I can't.
The D word or the C word?
Yes.
I mean,
sure,
if you're a girl.
Sure. Yeah.
We believe in gender equality.
We do.
Thank you, Bella. She's the head of our DEI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be scared.
And the head of our own Doge too.
It's so these memes I can't get enough. Once you realize he was installed by Russia to destroy America from within without firing a shot, everything he does makes sense. Everybody's quoting Khrushchev. We will take America without firing a shot. You couldn't be doing it any more deliberately if you were trying, right? Like we were saying, he already changed from it's not first of all, barely any fentanyl comes over the border. This trade war
of Canada.
Yes, makes zero sense. Right. Well, first of all, the vast majority comes from American citizens at legal ports of entry. Yeah. It's like less than 0.1%. So now he's already said, "Oh no, it's not fentanyl. They need to be the 51st state." So far this weekend, if you're reviewing, he's threatened to take over Panama or the canal, or something very powerful is going to happen.
Yeah.
Sent Marco Rubio to say we're taking the Panama Canal. Threaten Canada, saying it's about you have to become the 51st state, and then I won't do tariffs. What did I miss one?
Have we already forgotten about Greenland?
Drunky McRapey, the head of Defense Department, is talking about invading Mexico. Like, yes, that's not off the table, is what he said. So if this is as bad as you think. By the way, I kept thinking all weekend, we're going to get Frank Flaguzzi on. He said we are significantly less safe for so many. Another plane fell out of the sky ever since he gutted the. I was going to book a ticket to go see my big sister, my oldest sister. I didn't book it. I'm terrified to fly while he's still president.
Frank Figluzzi is booked for hour 1 tomorrow.
Thank you, Frank. But anyway, I was thinking, this is a perfect time for our enemies to attack. This is exactly why look what's going on. When they take all of their, attention from everything except the border, when you gut the Federal Aviation Safety Committee and you fire the head of the FAA, once again because of Elon Musk, right?
Right.
And freeze hiring of air traffic controllers. Like, what do you think's going to happen? But so now all we care about is border. Chris Jackson tweeted, NORAD confirms fighter jets were scrambled from Alaska and Canada after Russian warplanes were spotted in the Arctic region. Mm-hmm. You think Sarah Palin would have given us a heads up, but no. That dumb bitch. Remember when Trump said this wouldn't happen on his watch? It's only week 2, and here we are. Our adversaries can smell the incompetence from continents away.
Right.
If you were trying to weaken America from within, you couldn't write a better plan. Mm-hmm. Am I missing anything? USA, they just shut. This is all, in case you're wondering, this is all illegal. It's all illegal. They're shutting down USAID.
Right.
Okay. Congress appropriates these things. I'm telling you, Chris, here's the thing. Now is not the time. We're all scared. So it's not time not to be scared, but it's the time to get loud and get louder, not get quieter and more fearful. My friend Fran is sending a template around. Call all of your representatives.
Call them.
And tell them, first of all, that's something we all should agree on. Someone unelected should not have control of all of our money and our private information, right?
Yes. And might I say, call your congresspeople's offices, because that gets a lot more done than an email does. An email often just gets sent to wherever. But if you call, it goes on a log, and most members of Congress are given the top 3 topics about what people are calling about that day. That gets attention.
I get, Chris, everybody's like, because I do get a little we get scream sometimes about, like we wish we had more Jasmine Crockett's and AOC's in terms of messaging, but please do not don't turn on Democrats, because if we're going to be totally lost as a country. But you do have to urge them to speak louder and with more urgency. And you got to tell Republicans, you either 25th Amendment or impeach this mother, or we're going to put you in the dustbin of history in the midterms. And I get it that that's a long time from now, but we have to do all of the above.
Right.
You got to scream louder. You got to say, what is an unelected billionaire doing with access to the United States Treasury? I mean, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was going to say the Rude Pundit, who we're going to be talking to in a few minutes,
and liberal redneck
has a new piece this morning, and he's saying that our Democratic leaders need to be a lot louder than they are right now.
Yeah.
They need to match our outrage and our fear.
Right. But again, Democrats alone can't fix this. If you really believe in America first, Republicans, then do something. Stop this madman.
Yeah.
I've got, Peggy Noonan's new case. How Republicans are terrified. Privately, of course, they are terrified. They're anxious. They know that he's a madman too. So do something about your madman. I mean, because of course you go, oh, what's the point of impeachment, blah, 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 25th Amendment's not going to happen. Well, what if we demand it, I don't know what else we can do except file, like Rude Pundit says, lawsuit after lawsuit, get loud, obstruct everything, stop this. Someone has to stop this madman.
I don't know that I would put too much faith in the 25th Amendment, because those... I'm
throwing stuff out.
Requirements
All of the
are
above.
So strict that I don't think.
How many countries does he have to threaten to invade? I mean, Malcolm Nance said it. Hitler dismantled democracy in 53 days.
But he also put a whole bunch of yes men in his cabinet, and his cabinet needs to go along with the 25th Amendment. So I don't think we should put too much faith in that.
I'm asking for an all of the above, because that's what they want. This is why I look to other people to lift me up. AOC she said, I honestly believe our most powerful position at a toxic time that feeds on cynicism, apathy, and despair is to genuinely care and act for a better world. Cynicism is our enemy. We should check it, including on the left. It's not intellectually superior. It's the virus they're trying to infect us with. Thank you. Someone, I love this one. They said, my ability or my desire to stay informed is conflicted with my desire to stay sane. Yeah. And I get it. I get the just wanting to check out. But, oh, my God, we just can't.
Don't doom scroll. Do not doom scroll.
Oh, well. Let me just show you what I put Chris
and
through
all
this
of
weekend.
those arrived at like 1 a.m.
Oh, that's when they arrived in here.
Oh, great.
Okay. Yeah, it is, right? It's just Mike from Pennsylvania was the first one I saw. President Musk pushing out a top Treasury official because the official denied access to a system used by the government to make payments. Looked like Musk and Felon 47 are trying to loot the Treasury. That was Friday, right? Mm-hmm. And now it's like, same thing. I can't even be forgiven if you can't keep up, because it is he just opened dams in California and tried to flood us because he's a vindictive mother. First of all, the fires are 100% contained. Secondly, that doesn't even go to Los Angeles, that water. And the farmers are like, stop, you're flooding. Without state authority, he has the federal government go in and open just to prove some stupid point.
And so the Northern California lost 2 reservoirs because they were ordered to empty them.
Right.
So Northern California has less water now than they did before.
He is a complete effing madman. Senator Padilla, who's our senator for that area, said Trump just ordered 2 dams open to levels that would have flooded the Central Valley communities and farms, all to justify his lies about the LA fires. These rivers don't even flow to Los Angeles. Nope. The incompetence isn't just staggering, it's dangerous. It's not even incompetence, it's petty, vindictive lunacy that, and it isn't it weird? Because it feels like that's what, like the floodgates open this weekend, starting Friday.
So to speak.
Literally in California. Yeah. But the Friday night massacres, all of it. Another plane dropping out of the sky. You're just like, oh my God. Yeah. The sky literally is falling. Yeah. Sorry to be Chicken Little, but oh my God. So, I got a little giggle from Bella.
I love Chicken Little.
Oh, See, I told the guy that owns the show, she's one of the things that gives me hope.
Yes.
Look at this 22 years old, impressive young lady, wants to step into this
you know,
show now.
A wise woman once said, "I believe the children are the future."
I did say that. And then that
Yes.
bitch, Whitney Houston, stole it from me. Probably got a Grammy for it. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
All right. All right. So everything you're feeling, yes, yes, and yes. Do something. Get loud. 21 minutes after the hour. We're going to have to be the media. We're going to have to be all of it. 21 minutes after the hour. This portion of the show. Speaking of getting loud, FFRF, or Freedom from Religion Foundation. Well, sending love and light to you there in D.C.,
Yeah.
Glenn. I'm sure it is extra traumatic being up close there. I just took that beautiful flight over the Potomac into Reagan Airport a couple weeks ago, as you know. I feel like I need to just talk to you as a human first before a prosecutor, because I just there literally is a new low almost every hour, isn't there?
Yeah, we lost some men and women of the military. We lost a full passenger plane full of family members, friends, neighbors, and Donald Trump, not surprisingly, said, "I take no responsibility at all." You know, welcome to the age of government lawlessness and callousness and indecency. I mean, you know, what I'm really angry with myself about, Steph, is I let Trump and his lawless cabal, you know, get my stomach tied in knots every day. And I try to untie it, but I want to share with everybody that all of us who are in this fight for the soul of American democracy and for the rule of law are twisted up and nauseous every day. And that's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. This is exactly where he wants us to be, and we have to fight through it. We have to keep fighting with everything we've got. And his irresponsibility, his incompetence, and his imbecility, not only his, but the people he surrounds himself with, will be his downfall. It won't be quick and it won't be easy, but the downfall will come and America will rise again. I'm convinced of it, but it's not going to be anytime soon.
Yeah. Can I just say, Pete Dominic, let's make a note, who I love,
All right.
Comedian extraordinary, but he echoes your point, Glenn. He said, this cycle will repeat daily, a tragic news event followed by an outrageous response from Trump and his supporters. The normal reaction to this is anger, sadness, and fear. Don't let them take your joy. It is so hard, but don't let them take your power. I mean, that's what they want, is just this despair. And his shamelessness in going out and blaming Obama and Biden for something that just happened on his watch directly from his decisions. And he thinks no one's going to talk about him letting Elon Musk push out the head of the FAA, firing how many FAA employees, gutting, hiring freeze on air traffic controllers. And then here it comes, right? Here comes obviously the stories about that this happened because it was understaffed. The air traffic control was understaffed, right?
It happened on his watch. It may have been a product of decisions he made in recent days. It may not. We'll have to await the results of the investigation. And while they're still searching for victims in this recovery mission, trying to find folks to pull out of the freezing Potomac River, and he's asked, "Are you going to go look at the scene?" He said, "What scene? It's water. What, do you want me to swim?" I mean, it's beyond callousness. It's beyond words. And let me just give a shout out to my brother in baldness, Pete Dominic. The number of times I've kissed that man on his bald head, and I'm not making this up. I'm not making it up. I can send you the pictures. They're like PG rated, but I love him and I respect and I admire him, and he is a dear, dear friend.
He's fantastic.
Yeah.
See, that is a secure straight man right there.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, where do Andrea Junker, said, using the American Airlines Black Hawk helicopter tragedy to trash Obama and Biden and praise himself is as malicious as it is typical of this narcissist. Shame on all of you who voted for Trump as president. This monster and his actions will be your responsibility forever. The other thing you happen to mention, yes, there were 3 United States service people killed. He hasn't said anything.
Well, he did this morning, Steph.
Oh, he did finally? Okay.
He said something like, "Look, the helicopter was flying 200 feet too high." I may have the number off. Is that so hard to understand? I mean, the indecency and the callousness is so off the charts. And Steph, he's going to alienate everybody, even people who, for whatever reason, were supporting him previously. His downfall is coming. His downfall is coming one way or another.
Yeah.
Stephanie Miller.
Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, so 6,543 around and find out. I'm starting to have friends say that their Trumper friends are already saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I said, yes, number one Google search, people who regret voting for Trump. My ex, I actually sent her, she has asthma. First story out of a Wisconsin guy died. His asthma inhaler went from $35 to $600, whatever, went without medication for several days, died. I said, I want to strangle every mother who voted for this sociopath. And she said, I'm already having Trumper friends say, oh my God. And I said, I told you so. And they're like, I know, I didn't listen. We are not yet 2 weeks in, not till noon today Eastern.
Right.
So if you think you're taking crazy pills, you're not. Ruth posts between the tariffs, the idiotic threats to Canadian and Danish sovereignty, the destruction of USAID, the undermining of NATO. It's hard to see what the Trump administration would have done differently in their first 2 weeks if their aim were to destroy U.S. power and global influence. Grandpa Fan says it's a coup. That's the only thing that explains everything that's going on. The person in power is working to take power permanently. Your Constitution is dead unless you revolt now. FBI, OMB, FAA, DOJ, it's a coup by the party in power. It's a coup that never stopped, Chris. It's not starting.
Right.
Never stopped. It started on January. He just let out all. By the way, another January 6th rioter that he pardoned was just arrested for killing someone drunk driving. I don't know what we're up to now.
People will start noticing once it starts hitting their wallet and their pocketbook.
Yeah.
That is...
This is the asthma inhaler story. No, he didn't die, quote unquote, as the headline said. He was forced to go 5 days without his medication, and it killed him. People are going to die. Some of us are not going to survive this, and it is. You say you want a revolution. It may not be televised, but we better get to it. Rude Pundit has some marching orders for us, and I know a lot of folks have thoughts. We'll try to get everybody in we can. 29 minutes after the hour, Stephanie Miller's show.
The climate crisis is here, devastating communities across the globe. Cars are one of the biggest contributors to greenhouse gases. As more people turn to electric vehicles, millions of cars are destined for landfills where they continue to harm our planet. By donating your car to FSTV, you ensure it's disposed of responsibly while supporting independent media. Call 866-628-2277 to get the process started. Make a difference today and drive change.
More than 100 years ago, standing high above the most magnificent river canyon on Earth, one of America's greatest presidents, Teddy Roosevelt, stood at the edge of the Grand Canyon, fell in love with the place, and spoke to you, the future.
The Grand Canyon in Arizona is a natural wonder which, so far as I know, is absolutely unparalleled throughout the rest of the world. I want to ask you to do one thing in connection with it, in your own interest, and in the interest of the country, to keep this great wonder of nature as it now is. I hope you will not have a building of any kind, not a summer cottage, a hotel, or anything else to mar the wonderful grandeur, the sublimity, the great loneliness and beauty of the canyon. Leave it as it is. You cannot improve on it. The ages have been at work on it, and man can only mar it. What you can do is keep it for your children, your children's children, and for all who come after you, as one of the great sights which every American, if he can travel at all, should see.
I am not an amusement park. I am not a casino. I am the Grand Canyon. Thanks to Roosevelt, I do not belong to the developers, the industrialists. I belong to you. I belong to the people who have known me since the dawn of time, but only if I am allowed to remain pristine. I am America's open-aired cathedral. I am the world's natural Sistine Chapel. But I am about to be chopped into pieces and auctioned off to the highest bidder. On my plateaus in the north, mines claw for my minerals. Above my springs to the south, investors want to build more, tapping my freshwater springs. In my vistas to the west, helicopters fill the skies from dawn to dusk. And along my border to the east, developers have dreams of a cable car carrying 10,000 a day to my sacred confluence. I am surrounded on all sides, above and below, by those determined to transform my beauty into cash. I am the most endangered river in America. I am the Colorado River in the Grand Canyon, and I am not for sale.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
Hi, I'm Jasmine. I'm with One Hood, and you're watching Free Speech TV.
Sleazy Adam Schiff, corrupt this, corrupt that. I can't remember what else was in that first tweet, but I was quite desperate to respond. I was on the House floor, and my colleague Mike Thompson from Napa grabs my arm and he says, Adam, you should tweet back, Mr. President, when they go low, we go high, go yourself. And believe me, I was sorely tempted.
Okay, we have reached that point. We have reached, this is how I like my resistance. Rude pundit tweets, every payment I send to the government will now have a notation that reads, tell Elon to suck my... That's how you... Now that's what I'm talking about. It wasn't one thing, it was balls.
Right.
Yeah. Which is funnier.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see the driver that when ICE came, he told him to gargle his...
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
Said gargle my... Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over your jingle.
Balls if it's cut off from the rest of it?
Yes. I can't, you can't really, I guess I can use balls that close to another thing that sucks. Okay, so anyway, rude.
Oh, boy.
We were just talking off air, and God bless you for your piece, because you just said no to Democrats. We are freaking out. I mean, it's everybody I know. Every family member, every friend is calling me like we have some inside information, right? I'm like, no, I'm going through this in real time, just like you are. I mean,
what would that inside information be? That we know where the where the polonium is coming in for the tea?
What there's so many great analogies. I loved yours is so perfect, though. You said, I feel like we're all locked in a burning Tesla and the entire operating system has failed and we can't unlock the doors and we're trying to break the windows to get out.
That's it.
Yes, we're in a self-driving Tesla that has exploded. I mean, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, and we're freaking out. We're panicking. We don't know what to do, and until somebody comes along, there's nothing we can do.
We need some leadership.
We can go for a general strike,
Yeah.
which we should do, but be ready because we know that they think they can shoot protesters.
Right. But I mean, I agreed with every single thing you posted. You said, I swear to, if Democrat ever gets to be president again, they better immediately arrest all these hold them at Gitmo until they can be prosecuted. I mean, Adam Schiff asked, I think it was during the Kash Patel thing, how did we get here? Well, there's a lot of answers to that, but how do we get here? We're about to put someone in charge of the FBI who made a music video with people who assaulted police officers.
Yeah, and then pretended he didn't know. Who lied under oath repeatedly. Didn't just refuse to express an opinion, but openly lied.
While the FBI purge is going on, saying he's not going to have an enemies list and it's not just that they're purging them, Rude. It looks like they're getting ready to prosecute them. And these are people who just took an assignment. They're federal employees that were given January 6th as their assignment. They're going to be fired and then possibly prosecuted for doing their job. I mean,
there's no law that they broke. The idea is to punish them financially by making them have to lawyer up and all of that and go through whatever kinds of things that the Justice Department lawyers put them through.
Yeah.
But there's no law they broke in investigating a crime unless they planted evidence or something like that, which we know they didn't do, because if they had, we'd have friggin' heard about it by now.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the point we're at. We're at the point that they're going to plant weed. Go, oh, look, we found weed. You said it's important to remember that Hitler went after people with disabilities first. It started with sterilization and went to murdering them pretty quickly. The way Trump and his vile regime talk about disabled people is giving me serious eugenics vibes. The 53 days it took Hitler to dismantle democracy feels pretty on point to me. At this point,
and the way that Trump went on after the plane crash about people who weren't qualified because of some disability, in the executive order, in the policy that was put into place under him, and when he listed all of these disabilities that they could hire under, not hire air traffic controllers, just hire people to work somewhere at the FAA.
Yeah.
That list was the list that was put in place by him.
Oh, my God. Of course. No, of course.
And when you're talking intellectual disability, they went on about people with intellectual disabilities. I'm like, is autism? Because Elon Musk, I'm not disparaging. I'm saying if you're going to disparage, then look at what you're doing too.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, stop calling me racist, say the people who voted for the guy who blames every problem on blacks and Latinos. Yeah. I mean, what does it say in the year of our Lord, 2025? The female helicopter pilot's family wanted at first to keep her name private, knowing that Trump will target her and blame her, right? I mean, I was just on a flight, by the way, to D.C., that same flight into Reagan a couple weeks ago for Sexy Liberal, and there was a female pilot. And I had a moment with her and the female flight attendant, and I was like, woohoo, yay for lady pilots. And like she laughed and we all high-fived and whatever. And I thought but this is the country that he's created in less than 2 weeks. Where I read another, oh God, in the F around and find out stack, sorry, just that female Republicans that are getting fired are apparently upset because they're like, oh, I thought they were just targeting race.
Right.
Welcome to your hate, baby. You're giving birth to, as Frangela says.
Stands for. Guess what's in that diversity and equity thing there?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I love it when it's a female pilot because I'm thinking, oh, I bet they've been trained more recently than some of these decrepit old white guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other thing is the pilot of the American Airlines, or the flight that was being run for American Airlines, was Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
So of course, this is somebody who was well trained, had tons of experience, and they're jumping on him and attacking him, and his family had to come out with a statement. Somebody who grew up in New York City, is of Puerto Rican descent, and getting all the hate in the world despite being a long time
Yeah.
and apparently well-trained and experienced pilot.
Yeah. So many great, terrifying, depressing points you made this week, Rude.
Oh, thank you.
You said,
Thank
so
you.
will they stop Medicare for DEI seniors? You said Tennessee GOP supermajority passed a bill that would criminalize local officials such as city council members or county commissioners who cast a vote for any local immigration sanctuary policy. So that's how it's getting already. I mean, it is literally like today in fascism, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, all these things, you know, every one of these things is an attack on the First Amendment, because what people are being punished for is often their speech and their beliefs.
Yeah.
And they're being punished for saying, well, you know, let's look into the crimes of Donald Trump.
Yeah, we're what, almost 45 minutes into the show. Of course, didn't even mention them. Did I? I'm kicking out all the, regular news organizations out of the Pentagon and putting in mostly Trump-friendly Breitbart and, right? Yep. It's because, so they'll just, comment on our great and glorious leaders and glorious victories, and we've always been at war with East Asia now, What do you call it? FCC, this is getting close to home. FCC investigating NPR and what is it, PBS? Mm-hmm. I mean...
Yep. Okay. Nice job on that right turn there, NPR. Always getting rewarded for doing their bidding.
Thank you. So let's get to your marching orders. So it's so good. You're just about don't Democrats. We are freaking them out. Chris and I talked about this last week, and I hate to say it because I like Chuck Schumer. I think he's good. But you just said stop putting Chuck Schumer out there. Just stop. We always play Jasmine Crockett and AOC because it's not chronological age, Rude. I keep saying it. It's not ageism because I'm old as dirt.
Elizabeth Warren is older
it's the
than
way.
Chuck.
Yes, it's exactly. It's the way of communicating. It's old way of doing things, old way of communicating that I think is killing us. And I because you're right. They're right on the issues. It's not like they're not all saying the right things, right?
Well, they're not saying the right things. They're trying to make things. They're not seeing the actual issue, and they're not putting it out there in a way that is as alarming as things are.
Right.
Chuck Schumer did a series of tweets.
Let me just say, Democrats are the last people to blame for where we
I'm
are
not
now.
blaming Democrats. I am saying that some of them are using social media really, really well.
Yes.
I'm saying that's the start.
Yeah.
That's just the beginning of what you do, and for so many, it seems like that's the limit right there.
Yeah.
By the way, the Dow Jones has opened lower, 534 points.
They're betting.
They're
Goldman
betting
Sachs put out. I said this earlier. Put out. They're betting on a crash. The American economy crashing.
They're betting the short, yeah.
Yeah.
And so look at me, I sound fancy. Yeah. I just watched a movie once called The Big Short.
Yes, I saw that too. Yeah. But you say, I know.
Everybody's an economic expert.
I was glad to read. I'm telling you, Rude, you're one of the people holding me up. That I just we're all trying to hold each other up and look to each other for, inspiration or what to have to do. You said, I know so many people who are scared to death or freaking out about all the ways the administration, Trump, a.k.a. Elon's meat puppet, is working with their lives like a deranged child pulling the wings off moths. A dear friend with a trans teen is making plans to leave the country. Someone close to me who runs a food bank in an area church where many of the people who get meals and groceries are undocumented. They're getting training for what to do if ICE shows up. At my university, we've been given guidance, reminding us that the university requires a judicial warrant or any federal or local law enforcement official who comes to campus seeking to make an arrest. I mean, it is hard to put into words how freaked out people are, right?
Yeah, and this is, and as I say, this is
by
just
design.
Me. What's that?
I said by design.
Yeah, but this is just me up here in my blue enclave, surrounded by people that are mostly like-minded. I mean, my friends in Louisiana and Tennessee are like, we don't know what to do. Because our state has turned on us. We thought the federal government used to have our backs, right, and now not even that. So
you talked about your friends in the MAGA states of America. You said it's being held in a pit in the basement by the killer from Silence of the Lambs, and you fall asleep and Freddy Krueger shows up.
Oh God!
And you're not even from this movie. Serial killers from other movies are showing up.
There's nowhere to go. There's nobody to turn to.
Right.
You know, what are they going to criminalize next? What are they going to criminalize when it comes to abortion rights? And what are they going to do with spending? That's the other thing, is if they can get away with just going in and shuttering U.S. aid, then what comes next?
There are diseases developing overseas. Somewhere in my 60,000 tweets and threads, but that's what that money's for. Otherwise, it's going to come here. That's how Ebola got here. That's how COVID got here. I mean, it's
and if he can get away with that, can I just say there was one thing that Jon Stewart said last week that really pissed me off, and not, again, he's often great and everything, but when he poo-pooed the idea that when Trump fired the U.S. attorneys, the inspectors general, when he fired the inspectors general, that he was like, oh, but the law said 30 days and he didn't wait 30 days to fire them. So why are we freaking out? And I'm like, we're freaking out because if you let him break the law, then that just says it's okay to break the law.
Thank you.
If
Yes.
there are no consequences for breaking law, and that's what we're seeing now with USAID.
Yes.
Is
it's illegal. It's not.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But what comes next? Do you stop sending, financial aid to students that go to institutions that have DEI programs?
Right.
I mean, what do you do?
Right. I mean, let's get to your Steffi's book club.
Okay.
Because people don't read. That's how Donald Trump got to be president.
Yes.
Listen to this. Such good stuff. You just said Democrats, you need to act. You need to do something that makes us feel like you see you as a genuine resistance. And by that, I don't mean just posting videos explaining tariffs.
Exactly.
They're the icing on the resistance cake. Now bake the cake.
Yes.
Trump and his poisonous minions like to say the American people elected Trump to do all the we're doing. Although, come on, not exactly this, like having Elon Musk take over large parts of the functioning of the government in a de facto coup. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Nobody voted for this.
No.
You said you have to show us action, even action that fails. That's the key, is those of us go, oh, we're only 2 weeks in, and yeah, you don't have the votes to impeach and blah, blah, blah. But you just said, so we know you have our backs as we go through this. There's actually quite a bit Democrats can do. If much of it's symbolic, well, symbolic acts inspire people. Have constituents in Republican states and districts flood their senators and representatives with calls. Thank you. I opened the show with that. Get them out to town hall meetings. Make Republicans feel the heat of an angry electorate. File more lawsuits. Make a big public deal about them and their purpose. Make sure you tie them to the Democratic Party, saying they're trying to solve the problems the GOP is creating. Demand arrests of people who violate the law, like, Elon Musk. That's a cyber attack. What just happened? You said do something like going down to the Department of Treasury, demanding to be allowed to have access to the same records Musk is getting. Get arrested trying to do it if you have to. Most of all, stop making nice with the bastards. Do not support a single nominee. Make Republicans own it all. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Here's my thing. The people with the power of the purse need to start wielding that power.
Yeah. Even Republicans go, I get it that you're in a cult and you're terrified of him. Thanks, Peggy Noonan, for all your, Republicans privately are terrified as we are. Do something. Unless you want your party to go into the dustbin of history, you've got to stop this, Matt. He's your madman.
Right. And how far do we have to go before Republicans act? And I don't know where that is, how much they're going to hear from people. When the auto plants start shutting down because they can't get the parts from Canada that they were getting, what is that going to be enough?
We're going to try to rebuild here in California. You know what lumber is going to cost to try to rebuild in Los Angeles after these fires? I mean, so you just said don't play on their field. Bring the ball to your home stadium. Make them come here. It sucks. Everything sucks right now, and every day is lining up for the next forced face-fucking from these felonious freaks. It's going to suck for a long time, so we need Democrats to get out there in real life, not just online, and rally us. We need you to do that, or a hell of a lot of us are going to be lost in our fear. That's the worry. I get it. And Chris had to lift me up this weekend. I'm really effing scared.
And I'm not good at that.
He's not. He's better at beating me down. If you've listened, he beats me down.
I'm cynical AF.
Right?
Yeah. But them arms, they can carry Steffi. those guns can be used for good as well as evil.
Sure, absolutely.
But this is, this is exactly what they want, right? Despair. That's exactly what they're pounding. That's why they're overwhelming us, right?
They want us to, if I can keep speaking in metaphors, they want us to put our heads in the sand so we don't see the tide coming in.
Yep, exactly. Oh, that was very good. And it
wasn't that good?
And it wasn't dirty.
Right, I know.
Although there was head was mentioned.
They want us to put our head in the sand so they don't see it when somebody comes up behind us.
Yeah.
All right, goodbye. Get out.
Read his piece this
While
week.
university professors are still legal, go read his.
Read his piece this week. It's incredible.
Yep. 50 minutes after the hour. This portion of the show brought to you by Lean. Oh, my God. Hi, beautiful man. Hi.
Oh, hello from the New York Bureau. Kids, what a week. What a week. J.D. Vance got America to feel sorry for Catholic bishops. That's how crazy it is. Good morning.
Good morning. John, it's hard when he beats even our very, very low expectations of him. We before this press conference yesterday, we were here going, "Oh, can you imagine if that was under Biden? What they were saying about Biden and Buttigieg?"
Yeah.
And he still blames Biden and Buttigieg. Oh my God, it's just he.
Well, now be fair. He's also blaming Barack Obama and disabled people and dwarves. Okay,
Yes.
He really spread it around this time. And I respect that of him. I mean, we were saying on our show 2 nights ago, how long until he blames Pete Buttigieg for this? And wow, I mean, this guy's had a really, really bad week. This guy's gotten beaten down. This guy has shown that he's not a real dictator. He's not a real authoritarian because he backs down so hard. And trying to hold up federal spending, which is illegal. This 8 months pay scheme, which is illegal.
Thank you. And don't do it. Don't
everywhere.
fall for it. He'll stiff you. I keep saying it. So
But that's the lesson. The lesson here is everybody in the country needs to know this guy's already buckling under public pressure. He never even complained or whined when Matt Gaetz got shunted aside. There are still checks and balances that resist him, and the media's gaslighting that there's a mandate and the country has moved to the right has been proven this week to be a lie.
Thank you. And this is why we desperately need the truth tellers like you, John, because as I was saying, media got the story wrong. He backed down, not Columbia.
Thank you.
I don't care what his stupid fembot press secretary tweeted. He backed down on the spending freeze.
And by the way, can I just say, my good personal friend Chris told me this. Caroline Levitt, in her first press conference, she said, "I commit to telling the truth from this podium every single day." And again, her first thing she said, it's very easy to speak the truth from this podium with the president implementing policies wildly popular.
Oh, my God.
She lied there.
Yeah, January 6 pardons, not wildly popular. None of it's popular.
59% against the birthright citizenship, 59% against the anti-DEI, 62% against the pardons, and 54% against the tariffs. He's not popular, and people are waking up.
And by the way, they're all just despicable. Who's the first one? Remember we said this yesterday, Chris? I don't know what the right-wing talking point is going to be. They're going to blame fill in the blank, and they absolutely, and then they all repeat it. Representative Andy Ogles, this is this douche from Tennessee. He said, did DEI play a role in this type of thing? He just repeated the same thing Trump just said. This guy was exposed for having lied about his education and work experience. He's currently under investigation for faking a $320,000 loan to his campaign. The FBI seized his phone as part of the probe. He's made them just a party of crooks and grifters and liars. You were saying these what do you call it? These hearings, they're just such bull because they all just lie. They just lie their way through.
All of them is lie, and it's a joke. And since 1781, I believe only 9 cabinet nominees have not been permitted. It's a rubber stamp pageant. It's a joke. These hearings are awful. And I've got to believe that Kash Patel running the FBI has got to be karma's punishment to the FBI for the horrible way they treated Martin Luther King. The only problem is it's going to hurt the rest of us, too. And by the way, this is why Man Baby was talking about turning Guantanamo Bay into a detention center for 30,000. It's all a distraction from the funding shutdown being shut down.
Yeah.
That's it. He's been knocked down so many times this week. We saw the Sean Duffy nomination sail through the committee, but then 24 Democrats opposed it. We saw in a senatorial district in Iowa this week, a district that Trump won by 21%. A Democrat won it by 6 points. A 27-point swing in Iowa for Democrats this week. Guys, it's only week number 2. We are going to bring this beast to heel.
By the way, so speaking of Tulsi Gabbard, Art tweeted, if Edward Snowden and Russian state media are pushing for Tulsi Gabbard to be confirmed by the Senate as DNI, then you know that she should not be. I mean, they're openly on Russian TV rooting for her. Edward Snowden, I mean, she couldn't answer this. Where is it? Give me 11. Okay. But she couldn't answer this question from Senator Bennett. In Florida. Hello, Jenny. Oh, Baltimore. Jenny in Baltimore. Oh, it's my giggling whore.
The giggling whore.
Hi, giggling whore.
Hi.
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 Go ahead.
I'm calling because I can't even, and
Oh, she literally stopped being able to even, just right there.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
She literally stopped being able to even.
Maybe Trump had her deported for being a whore.
Okay. What is this? Vince says, Fox News, there was a bit of a market reaction. You can see the Dow off more than 200 points. You'll see right about the time Carolyn Levitt confirmed these tariffs will begin tomorrow. That's when you saw the Dow sell off. Although now, apparently, Fox News is telling us it's patriotic to pay more. Remember, it was just a few weeks ago, Trump was going to make everything less expensive. And even Trump said, there's going to be pain. But it's all make America great, blah, blah.
The market is now down 600 points.
Right, but it's patriotic to pay more. Yeah. Remember that, MAGA. 58 minutes.
I feel like her heartbeat is like same speed as mine. And I think we have this like deep connection, this heart connection in her heart that there's room for me and Mom. When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
She's really good with Anya. I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, it's gonna be cool. She's my superhero.
Good job, kitty cat.
When we adopted Lucky, we discovered all the wonderful things that make her unique.
Lucky's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly she's pure love.
ICT is back on FSTV. Join ICT every Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific for credible Indigenous news from Indigenous people. ICT, Fridays at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on FSTV.
I'm Randy Rhodes, and you're watching Free Speech TV.
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family, and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about poor Georgia?
Man,
champagne, please. That's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
I'm sorry. I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Shug. You know I'm for you.
I know.
Go get the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for you. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
I'm Andy Hum.
I'm Ann Northrup.
We're the hosts of Gay USA.
And you're watching Free Speech TV.
Welcome to Enviro Close-Up. I am Carl Grossman. The subject, the Oak Ridge Environmental Peace Alliance. Ralph Hutchinson, he is the coordinator of the alliance, and Cody Dishner, organizer for the alliance. Welcome, fellas.
Thanks, Carl. Good to be here.
Happy to be here, Carl.
Now, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists defines doomsday with the weapons of today, the atomic bombs and the hydrogen bombs, as nuclear annihilation. Nuclear annihilation. I mean, you'd think facing nuclear annihilation, well, the media would jump in and report on this important treaty, but actually very comparable, really, to the treaties. There was a bunch of them enacted during the 1920s when, well, the results of chemical warfare during World War I became known and was considered horrific. So there was a ban put together by the succession of treaties on chemical warfare. It's not been perfect, but basically it's held. This treaty on prohibition of nuclear weapons would be kind of a counterpart to the treaties that banned chemical weapons.
There was an interview this morning on National Public Radio, and I'm not even sure who was being interviewed, but the person was asking them a series of questions about Ukraine and stuff, and included in it Vladimir Putin's most recent threat to use nuclear weapons. And the person answering said, it's a very dangerous time. I can't speak to the use of nuclear weapons. And then went on with the answer. And I thought, why can't you speak to the use of nuclear weapons? Why can't you talk about what that would mean? Why can't you imagine what the response might be? And I really think it goes back to the kind of psychic numbing that is almost essential to live in a world when you are 100 seconds away from midnight. He can't speak to it because it is unspeakable. It is, or unthinkable even, in a sense. And I think that's a very powerful reality that we have been living under the nuclear shadow for so long, that, you know, you can't have it in the forefront of your mind all the time. It comes up, you pray it never happens, and you go on with your life.
Thank you, fellas, for being with us on Enviro Close-Up, and thank Oripa for your marvelous work.
Thanks, Carl. Great to be here.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. This is Carl Grossman.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here.
Wait.
What?
I can't drive.
Why?
I'm high. Oh.
Want to inspire fellow FSTV viewers and make a powerful difference? Frontline funders are the heart of our pledge drives and make match days possible. Without them, pledge drives could not provide the critical revenue we need to deliver the programming you love. Here's how it works. Every quarter, dedicated supporters like you step up with at least $1,000 to our Pledge Drive Matching Fund, increasing the impact of every donation. Frontline funders don't just support, they lead. At a time when independent news and nonprofits face existential threats, you can champion the mission of progressive news and ensure its future for generations to come. Your commitment sets the stage for collective action, proving that when we come together, we can achieve the extraordinary. Join the frontline funders today and let's make progress possible. Call 303-542-4819 or visit freespeech.org to learn more. Thank you.
It's the Stephanie Miller Show.
Our beloved Canada is under threat. It is an economic threat, but it's also a threat to our values of decency and inclusion. It's a threat to our sovereignty and our very future as a nation. The threat comes, of course, from the President of the United States, a convicted felon, a known predator. He's threatening massive tariffs to try and break us as a people. But the threat is also being driven by the hate algorithms of the oligarchs like Elon Musk.
Love that guy. Charlie Angus, Canadian member of Parliament.
Yep.
Canada, we just want to say sorry, eh? We don't know what this is all about, except for this.
Usually it's them saying sorry all the time.
Madman. No, now it's all going to be us saying sorry for years.
Sorry. Oh, sorry.
Stewart said, after signing executive order saying tariffs were about fentanyl, of which 0.0001% comes from Canada, Trump now says it's really about hurting Canada's economy until it agrees to become a U.S. state. Because, did I mention that he is effing lunatic?
Yep.
Also going to take over the Panama Canal and what's his name? Drunky McRapey, defense secretary, said, yeah, invading Mexico is not off the table. So it's not you. You're not taking crazy pills. British Columbia, this just in. British Columbia says it will no longer buy American liquor from red states in response to U.S. tariffs. I got to say, that's kind of epic as they're figuring out how to punish only red states. Which, this is the lunacy of what is that. You just said, by the way, they keep saying mandate landslide, which is bull in the first place. 38% I support these tariffs. This is not what people voted for.
Yeah, but blue people work at these distilleries.
I know.
And so
I know. But this is the lunacy that this is brought on us. Republicans against Trumpism said Canadians booing the U.S. national anthem isn't something I ever thought I'd see. But this is what happens when you let a psychopath criminal with isolationist and protectionist policies back into the White House. Alan, AJ in Michigan, sorry about the tariffs. Hey, AJ. Hello.
Hey, Stephanie, how's it going?
Good, go ahead.
I just want to bring up an argument that right-wingers seem to be in tune with one another, and that is with the tariffs, they're saying, so now you liberals are against higher prices. Basically, thinking that we were for the prices during the inflation period under Biden, not realizing we were not okay with those prices. We were simply acknowledging the underlying issues that caused them.
Right.
And, of course, they're not very tuned to nuance and descriptive details. Right. So it kind of goes in one ear and out the other with these idiots.
Yeah. Nobody is for higher prices. Nobody is for illegal immigration. Okay, who said, how did we get here? It's not from Valley of the Dolls or Beyond Valley of the Dolls. I'll just tell you that right now.
All right.
Where are we defending a nominee like this who makes songs with convicts who attack law enforcement? How did we get here?
Neely O'Hara.
No. That was a good guess, but that was Valley of the Dolls. See, I already... that would be Senator Adam Schiff about the Kash Patel. nomination. Okay. This love tweets for us. Thom said, yes, Steph and Chris you two have chemistry like the baking soda volcano at the science fair has chemistry.
All right. I'll take it.
Yeah. All right. Phantom 600 said, Bella is doing a wonderful job. It is true.
Oh,
Children are the
thanks.
future. It's our only reason for hope.
Yeah.
I'm the future, we're in trouble.
Jack Post, the HHS nominee, is a dangerous science-denying conspiracy, not the FBI nominee. Pleaded the fifth to his involvement in criminal conspiracies and has fundraised for violent insurrectionists. The DNI nominee is a Russian asset, and here we are, doubtful if anything can be done to stop them. Well, as we keep saying, this Elon Musk thing and seizing the Treasury has got to be our break glass. If that is not a break glass moment, because you feel like that's the thing they're distracting from, is the looting, right? By the way, Teresa says, Steph, my husband is one of the fired air traffic controllers from the Reagan debacle. Thanks for mentioning them this morning. My husband said after this accident, it all goes back to him. Thank you.
It does.
This Lawrence
He started
O'Donnell.
it.
Yeah, Lawrence O'Donnell with Captain Sullenberger. Oh, sorry, that's you.
Yeah.
I don't want to draw you into politics, but if you have a reaction to what the president said today about this, please share it with us.
Not surprised, disgusted.
Yeah. One more, Representative Garcia from out here.
What does Donald Trump do? He injects himself, his politics, his cruelty, and starts blaming diversity programs. Essentially starts blaming people of color and women, which is what these programs actually do to support and diversify, in the crash, when he has no evidence about what even caused the crash. It is just so disgusting.
Yeah. God. When God tweets, you listen.
Okay.
Yeah. God posted, the USA has had 2 major plane crashes in the last 4 days. The USA had previously not suffered a major plane crash for 16 years. DEI programs have existed for decades. So what was it that changed in the last 14 days or so to suddenly cause so many crashes? Gee, I wonder. Okay, and NTSB spokesman.
Unfortunately, at some point, all of you are going to be gone. We're still going to have the investigation open. We're going to make recommendations. We go to East Palestine. The recommendation of the NTSB, you'll save lives. Get off and do something. I don't want to have to meet with another set of those parents like that again. Not fair. Could be your family. Sorry, I didn't mean to take it out on you. It's just hard. Sorry.
So today in fascism again news, the NTSB, you've seen this? Yesterday, President-elect Musk's private company X has become the form of state media when the NTSB announced the information about last week's plane crashes will no longer be emailed to news outlets. Reporters will have to get their information through X and only X. Greg writes, it is wrong and illegal for the U.S. government to limit access to one platform, especially when it's owned by and funnels profits into the pockets of the country's current second in command, who was not elected. Can we just keep saying? Brendan Keefe said the NTSB is requiring a free press to join a private website run by a presidential appointee in order to access public information about the worst U.S. air disaster in a generation. Who else wrote this on Blue Sky? Southpaw said this amounts to a federal subsidy of this platform, which is owned by the president's biggest donor, as it happens, who has made it into a gathering place for Nazis. I know it's hard to keep up, right? This is the other President Musk news. He said he and Trump are in the process of shutting down the U.S. Agency for International Development, defying the constitutional power of Congress to determine how money is spent. Musk announced the shutdown in the middle of the night on X, of course.
Yep.
Right? His announcement followed Saturday. The USAID's Director of Security and Deputy were placed on administrative leave after they tried to prevent Musk's Department of from accessing the secure USAID systems. The Musk's goons, threatened to call U.S. Marshals. They were eventually able to gain access to the secure systems. In a post on X, Musk said he spent the weekend feeding USAID into the wood chipper. I could have gone to some great parties, but I did that instead. He promises additional changes, including the wholesale removal of regulations. I mean, It is a lot. And what is he doing with all of our private information, one wonders? Right?
Who knows? We can't find out.
Right.
That's the thing.
Okay. Oh, let me, Karen in Chicago, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello.
I am freaking the F out, just like all of you guys. And you're right. I don't know how to make this funny. I don't know how. I mean, they literally just erased my kid. I don't understand it. And this is the thing. Just this morning, I went to coffee, and the owner of this shop is sitting there talking like no big deal. So what is it? It's just like, Elon Musk has access to our information. So did Snowden. So, and he like bought the BS about the apartment complex being taken over. I said, go fact check that. That is debunked. And then a liberal friend of mine said to me, yeah, well, what about the guy that was murdered in his house by 2 illegal immigrants? And I said, yeah, and what about the 1,500 criminals that Donald Trump just let loose? And she's like, well, it wasn't all 1,500 that were violent. And I said, yeah, only 700 plus were violent. But this is the problem. You have people that are parroting lies and propaganda that are believing it and thinking this is no big deal. Yeah. And then you have people that vote Democratic that are sitting there splitting hairs.
Yeah.
We are so effed.
Yeah. And by the way, this it just gets worse, doesn't it, Chris? Mm-hmm. Every layer. Yeah. 6 men between the ages of 19 and 24 are running Musk's takeover.
Oh, God.
Of sensitive government payment systems.
Bella's age.
Well, Bella's the exception.
She knows people her age. She wouldn't recommend people her age.
I wouldn't.
Dude bros between the ages of 19 and 24.
They suck. Go feel the touch of a woman. I don't know what to like.
They have little to no government experience. They're now playing critical roles in Musk's so-called Dodge project. Wired posted this. Our latest story names the 6 19 to 24-year-olds who now have access to the Treasury's payment system. Yep. They've demanded access to the systems of the U.S. Department of Treasury uses to distribute Social Security and Medicare benefits. As well as federal employees' paychecks, payments to federal contractors, grants, tax refunds, a slew of other functions. On Friday, the Washington Post reported on the troubling development in
Bank
which the unelected billionaire backer of Trump is seeking access to the systems responsible for making trillions of dollars in payments each year. More of the surrogates for Musk have clashed with the highest-ranking career official at Treasury, who then they pushed out Friday. They said, we have no visibility into what they're doing with the computer and data systems. One of the employees said, that's creating great concern. There's no oversight. It creates real cybersecurity and hacking implications. Holy that's the one, Chris, of all the what's this distracting from. I'm going to say that first.
Yeah, I think so.
Call your representatives, your Republican representatives.
Call them.
And by the way, the whole irony of this is Elon Musk has admitted he wasn't here legally. He came on a student visa and stayed and worked here without a green card. Yep. So this guy who's unelected, who's not from here, has access to your Medicare and Social Security payments and God knows what else. I mean, it is. If you aren't terrified, then you're not paying attention. John Pavlovitz. We need a good, even atheists are going to need God soon.
Yes.
Our former preacher friend said, good people feel it. They know they are not well because of this illness that has invaded, and it's good people who need to be loud right now. That's the only way to fight the sickness that feeds on silence, that thrives in darkness, that counts on compassion fatigue, that thinks tired, depleted people will stop giving a damn, so we have to give a damn vehemently. Thank you, John. I said this earlier because I already said, here's the clue as I already said it.
All right.
Who said we will take America without firing a shot? We do not have to invade the U.S. We will destroy you from within.
Ted Casablanca.
No, that would be Khrushchev in 1956. That seems a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Prescient now. Okay. And one last hero of democracy, Brian Tyler Cohen, our friend, had said, we need to shift our messaging from Democrats should talk about to just saying it ourselves. I'm guilty of it too, he says. Let's stop lamenting the asymmetry in the media. We already know the media would destroy Biden if he blamed a plane crash on some amorphous framework like DEI. Yes, Trump Republicans get graded on a curve. Instead, just be the change. Start making the case. Trump gutted the Aviation Safety Committee. Trump ousted the FAA administrator. The FAA administrator was fired because the unelected richest man in the world wanted him out. One air traffic controller was doing the job of two people when the crash happened. Trump ordered a federal hiring freeze. Trump is supposed to be in charge. Why won't he accept the blame? Is he not in charge? Who's running the show? Just make the case clearly like that. All right. One guy that does this so brilliantly is Trey Crowder, liberal
Love
redneck.
him. Love him.
Just because he makes it somehow hilarious that, all of the most terrifying stuff that's going on. He joins us for the entire hour coming up, 20 minutes after the hour. As we were saying, I can't hear off stage at Sexy Liberal DC, but on the final word this week, and I believe the episode was Beyond Biscuitry.
Yes.
One of my personal favorites. That's the title of your new book, Angela, as
well?
That's
our new book. It's called Beyond Biscuitry.
Yeah.
Yes, Tim Scott did not get a position in the government.
No, he did not.
Subtitle.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said it, Francis. You said, congratulations on your hate, baby. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody voted for Trump. I totally got with the second you said it. I was like, yep, here we are. And here they are blaming black people. That was code for black people for this crash that was caused by straight white men.
Yes.
Are there any? There's like one black lady's poor, unfortunate woman on the plane that I'm aware of at this point.
Right. The airline, American airline, and the steward person was African American.
Yes, the flight attendant.
Yeah, there's racism, and then there's this. Like, racism seems quaint compared to Trump's attacks and RFK's Jr.'s, not insinuation, dead out saying that black people are not the same kind of human.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And didn't he had also said it was developed to spare Jews, and he's just insane.
Yeah.
He's insane. And seeing Cheryl Hines behind him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You can no, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I'm coming for her. Okay,
coming for
she in our lane. She in the comedy lane.
Not no more. I'm gonna Zamboni that out. No.
Let's listen to a little bit. This is Ed Mackey. With RFK.
You told my colleagues on the Senate Finance Committee that when you went to Samoa in June of 2019, it, quote, had nothing to do with vaccines.
My purpose in going down there had nothing to do with vaccines.
Well, I have in my hand a blog post in 2021 in which you say the anti-vaccine group Children's Health Defense, which you ran, offered to fund the purpose of the trip to Samoa. And during the trip, you met with an activist who later compared vaccine mandates to Nazi Germany.
Oh.
People died. Lots of kids died. That should have been disqualifying just by itself.
It's like over 30 people, and children because of him.
Yeah.
Yep. And he has vaccinated his own children.
Thank you.
He is vaccinated.
Speaking of
let me tell you, this man cannot be in charge of my health care because he doesn't consider me human.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know he doesn't know how to conjugate verbs properly.
Well, there's that.
And they all just lie. Who was it? Kash Patel? They're like, do you know who this Nazi is? No. You were on his show 8 times.
And then he comes out later in the day, and it's like, of course we know each other. We text each other all the time.
Yes.
I have this it's insane.
Yeah. I thought Maggie Hassan was really, that was heartbreaking, but let's take a listen.
I am the proud mother of a 36-year-old young man with severe cerebral palsy. And a day does not go by when I don't think about what did I do when I was pregnant with him that might have caused the hydrocephalus that has so impacted his life. So please do not suggest that anybody in this body of either political party doesn't want to know what the cause of autism is.
Wow. One next.
Do you know how many friends I have with children who have autism? The problem with this witness's response on the autism cause and the relationship to vaccines is because he's relitigating and churning settled science so we can't go forward and find out what the cause of autism is.
Anyway, Frangela, this was a tough week. First of all, we just went through this out here with the fires, with Trump being a giant bag of to us and trying to score political points. And that was another new low even for him yesterday. That pressure. And you think it literally is, it would be comedy if it weren't, blaming Obama? I mean, we have a jingle saying when the black guy did it. I'm like, seriously?
Stephanie Miller.
When I see your face, there's not a thing that I would change, 'cause you're amazing, just the way you are.
Aw, thank you. Thank you to Chris LeBoy and to Bella, both lifting me up. The guy that owns the show yesterday, we had a long talk. He lifted me up. Emily with a love tweet. Stephanie Miller's sounding like Ethel Merman impersonating John Fogerty singing "Who Will Stop the Rain" is something I never knew I needed.
Well,
you're welcome. You are welcome.
I wish you wouldn't do that.
It was "I Can't Stand the Rain." It wasn't "Who Will Stop the Rain." That was Tina Turner. Okay.
It might as well have been John Fogerty.
Use guys. Threads. Sometimes I get down on myself and my work, and then I hear Stephanie Miller and her bubbly "go yourself" attitude, and I get pumped. If you're afraid to be a voice in the noise, don't be. We progressives have a fight to win. Thank you.
Right.
We do. Let's get back in the fight. I know I got knocked down this weekend. I needed help getting back up. Right, Bonnie? Okay, Bonnie.
You get knocked down, but you get up again?
But I get up again.
You're never going to keep me down?
Right.
Okay.
Belle, is that song since you were born or no?
I think that was probably a year or two before I was born, but I know what it is.
It was the 90s.
We were talking about Taylor Swift earlier in the Super Bowl coming up, and she said she likes the nostalgia music. I'm like, I'm sorry, Taylor Swift is nostalgia music for you? Because that would be like the Beatles for me.
Yeah. You're like Seasons in the Sun for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Josh says a decision to take summer water from local farmers and dump it out of these reservoirs shows a complete lack of understanding of how the system works and sets up a dangerous precedent. In case you missed it, Mango Mussolini tried to flood California because he hates us by opening up dams that, first of all, the fires are 100% contained.
Right.
So the farmers are like, stop, you're going to flood us.
Right. And now a whole bunch of water we had stored in reservoirs is no longer there.
Thank you. Lawrence Tribe says this is how autocrats throughout history have endangered the people they govern by erasing factual information vital to health and well-being. They are erasing CDC websites, health information. It is beyond terrifying. There's people trying to catalog stuff. They're trying to erase the DOJ and FBI. They're trying to erase any record of January 6th prosecutions. Brian Tyler Cohen says Trump just lost a trade war against Canada over fentanyl. The U.S. seized, wait for it, 43 pounds at the U.S. border last year. 43. That's a 0.01%. And then he was like, oh, no, it's not about that. It's they have to become the 51st state. He's a psychopath. Blaming the first commercial airline crash in 40-plus years on DEI after firing 400-plus safety officials is absolutely psychotic behavior. I have said it from the beginning. He is a madman. You Republicans, you have got to stop this madman. This is on you. Otherwise, we have to tell them. I am hoping there is the biggest blue tsunami ever, and then we're going to have to do it. Whether it's impeachment, whatever we're going to have to do. But I'm sick of this reporting. Peggy Noonan or whoever of Republicans are privately as terrified as we are. Do something. If you really believe America first, put America first. 29 minutes after the hour, Stephanie Miller Show.
Do you want to inspire change and be a lead supporter for independent media? Now you can. Frontline funders are viewers just like you, who step up with a $1,000 contribution towards our Pledge Drive matching fund. As a Frontline funder, you inspire thousands of viewers to give during Pledge Drive by amplifying the impact of every donation. Are you the leader we're looking for? If you're interested in making an impact or have any questions, please call us at 303-542-4819. Thank you.
Have you ever wondered how much power one individual truly holds? In the face of global confusion, information overload, climate change, economic disparity, and political turbulence, you might feel insignificant. But remember, the power for change lies within each of us. We can be the catalysts of change, sparking a wave of transformation, one action at a time. Now you may be asking, how can I, as an individual, contribute to this grand shift towards an ecologically sensible and equitable society? The answer is simple: localization. This isn't just about promoting your local cafe or bookstore, but about fostering stronger communities and robust local economies. It's about shifting from global to local, supporting the small businesses and initiatives that are the heart of our neighborhoods, by engaging in dialogue with those around us and pressuring our elected representatives. We can trigger the change we wish to see. The future starts with you, and the time to start is now. One of the most impactful ways to localize is by growing your own food. As simple as it may sound, this act of self-reliance can transform not only your lifestyle, but also your community. It is a small step towards reducing our overall carbon footprint while bolstering food security in our neighborhoods. Don't fret if you're new to this. There's a wealth of resources out there to guide you on your green thumb journey. From books like A Crop by Crop Guide to growing organic vegetables to online courses offered by permacultureeducation.org, there's something for everyone. And for those in urban settings, there are plenty of gardening tips for renters and city dwellers readily available. Growing your own food is more than just about self-sufficiency. It's about connecting with your community, your environment, and taking an active step towards change. It's about creating a ripple effect that can lead to a wave of societal transformation. Growing your own food is not just about self-sufficiency. It's about connecting with your community and your environment. But the benefits of localization and gardening extend beyond the environment and community. As we delve deeper into this transformative journey, we find that the act of gardening itself is a potent catalyst for personal growth and wellness. Imagine the satisfaction of sowing a seed and watching it sprout, then bloom into a full-fledged plant. This process, as simple as it may seem, has a profound impact on our mental health. It fosters a sense of accomplishment, nurtures patience, and cultivates resilience. Moreover, scientific studies have highlighted the therapeutic effects of gardening. It's a natural stress reliever, helping to alleviate anxiety and depression, and it doesn't stop there. Regular engagement with gardening activities has been linked to a reduced risk of stroke and dementia. So, you see, change is not just about the world around you, it's also about you. It's about nurturing your mind, body and soul, and in doing so, fostering a healthier, more vibrant society. There's so much you can do when you know where to look for it.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We had this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with Turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet,
we discover
they're a little bit of a lot of things,
but they're all pure love.
I'm Joe Galena from Call to Activism, and you're watching Free Speech TV.
Just when you think Donald Trump can't do anything worse, he tops himself every time. I said, to folks the other day, I think the man is a monster. He is a monster. And we've got to be clear about that. And the people around him want to destroy our country. And you're seeing that play out in these executive orders.
Representative Robert Garcia, one of our fighters. We love him. Trying to get him on. We're also trying to get all our sexy liberals who I think are doing a great job. Governor Pritzker, Jamie Raskin, Senator Schiff.
Yep.
I heard the breaking for Josh. I got the breaking news on social media. Elon Musk tried to gain access to the nation's Social Security payment system. If that doesn't send every hair on the back of your neck up, containing trillions of dollars, the highest ranking official of the Treasury is now departing, quote unquote, after trying to block Elon from getting access. This is a full on. What did Ruth Ben-Ghiat, the authoritarian scholar, said? This is a national emergency.
Sure.
If this is not it, I don't know what is. Guy here, do I have? Hang on. Senator Warnock, first of all.
They're attacking diversity, equity, and inclusion. I want to know what qualifies Robert Kennedy to be the chief public health officer of the United States of America. What qualifies the likes of Pete Hegseth to be the leader at the Pentagon? This is a disturbing moment in our country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Phil Bump said, if you don't previously understand how buried in the right-wing bubble the Trump White House is, his response to the plane collision was to amplify a false, grievance-centered talking point while flanked by two cabinet members who were former Fox hosts, right? And now, literally on cue, Fox is saying it's patriotic to pay more for stuff now.
Yep.
I mean, holy crap. Is this what you voted for? By the way, every part of this story makes the hair on my neck. Access to the system has historically been closely held because it includes sensitive personal information about millions of Americans who receive Social Security checks, tax refunds, and other payments from the federal government. That's pretty much all of us.
Exactly.
Okay. Karen tweets, and lo, the people were offered a choice, human rights and dignity or cheaper eggs, and lo, the people chose the eggs, and lo, a plague descended upon the chickens, and the people blamed DEI. Thank you. I just like it. A lot of lows are in there. I know you like religious talk as an atheist.
I don't mind it.
I'm just saying, a plague descended on the chick. I'm just saying. Coincidence? I don't think so. Let's go.
I like religious talk more than I like egg talk.
Kim in New Mexico. Hi, Kim. Welcome.
Hey,
Hi.
Steph. It's, as you said, Kim, a.k.a. Fuzzy, down here in New Mexico.
Hey, Fuzzy.
Hi, Fuzzy.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Good. Oh, well, what could be wrong? What could possibly be wrong?
What could possibly be wrong? Other than what we've been talking about this morning, or what you've been talking about. This morning, I went to check my account on the ssa.gov account site.
Yeah.
And looking up in the upper left-hand corner, I noticed that I'm sorry, I'm so angry.
That's okay.
The stars on the flag have been changed. They've been changed to 9 stars instead of 50.
Right. Okay.
I looked it up. And it says those 9 stars represent the Confederate First National Flag.
Wow. Okay. Yes,
A
Christopher.
little bit of breaking news. The market went up just slightly, but it's coming back down. Trump will delay tariffs against Mexico for 1 month, the Mexican president has said. It's all...
He's such a bully and a...
This is all a negotiation tactic. That's all he's doing.
It's all performative.
Yes.
He backs down every time. As most bullies do when they get punched in the nose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim Kaine said Trump let Musk force the resignation of the FAA administrator. He disbanded an aviation safety committee within DHS. He's got an OMB director who's pushing a hiring freeze and saying, I want to traumatize the federal workforce. They literally said that. He's got an anti-safety agenda. I think that's why he went the race baiting route. Sherilyn Ifill talking about the one of the pilots was a female, the helicopter pilot, one of the 3. She said the U.S. Army released the names of the 2 male aviators who were killed when their Black Hawk collided, but an extraordinary step, the Army did not immediately identify the 3rd crew member, a female pilot, citing her family's request for privacy. Sherilyn Ifill said because they know that their beloved daughter, who was serving her country when she died, would be targeted by the misogynistic segregationist forces that seek to brand women and minorities as per se incompetent. It's stunning where we've gotten to, right? Elizabeth Warren said Trump and his allies hope if they keep flooding the zone with horrifying actions, we won't notice all of them. They hope we'll get demoralized. They'll hope we will curl into a ball and let them do whatever they want. We won't give them that satisfaction. We will keep fighting back. Again, as you said earlier, as always, I think Rude Pundit said, Elizabeth Warren's not young, but the way she messages, the way she fights, the urgency she fights with, I think is what we need. Governor Pritzker, by the way, we want to get back on. He's one of them, I think, that is really. Oh, sorry, it's you. I keep thinking Bella's playing him. Here you go,
No.
you. There we go.
Yeah, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he promised that he was going to lower costs for Americans. He promised that he was going to make us safer, and he's done none of that. And I realize he's only been in office 2 weeks, but it's gotten worse, not better. You think your prices at the grocery store have gone down in the last 10 days? No, they've gone up because of what he is threatening or what he's already put in place.
Can he run for a national office, please?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he's going to
I
run
hope so. We
next
need
time.
people like him.
Diana said, man, I feel like the founding fathers forgot to account for sociopaths. Yeah, I think they may not have sociopath-proofed the Constitution. Okay, or that the entire party would be either Russian assets or cowards. Okay, Covey said, oh my God, just 24 hours after the plane crash in D.C., the Trump administration emailed air traffic controls urging them to quit their jobs and take mass buyouts. Okay. I was having a hard time keeping, with the velocity of the velocity of the hurry this weekend.
The
was
fierce
right.
velocity of now?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Attorney Ryan said the price of everything is about to skyrocket due to Trump's reckless and unnecessary tariffs. If you threw your morals in the trash to vote for this monster, congratulations, you sold your soul for nothing. And I was Brian Tyler Cohen, the first one that alerted us to out here. Trump just ordered 2 dams opened up in California. First of all, remember their states' rights people? He ordered the federal government without telling the state.
Yep.
Okay. In an unprecedented move that risks depleting the reservoirs ahead of the dry summer months, and the kicker, the water from the dams doesn't even flow to L.A. Not to mention the fires are 100% contained now. So, okay. One last one. California Buyers says it's definitely important to cover the plane crashes, but there's a coup unfolding, and you're not reporting on it. There's not yet enough to report. You're onto speculation while we're undergoing a takeover. Keep your eye on the ball. I mean, I was saying, I don't know where it was, what channel I landed on this morning. I don't know, Grammys, Sports Trade. I'm like, what? This is not normal.
The sports trade did take up a lot of the atmosphere yesterday.
Oh, Christ.
I know. To me, it's not important, but apparently it's like one of the biggest trades in history.
That's great for whoever sports the ball.
It was
Hi.
the Lakers and the Mavericks.
Right, the people that support the sports. Okay, hi, Matt in Chicago.
Hello, everyone. So
Hello.
I've got a theory, and I was telling your delightful call screener this. By the way, hi, Bella. It's nice to meet you.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so here's my theory. There's 2 coups going on. There's the coup that we're seeing, and then there's the coup that is going to happen to Donald Trump. My theory is very simple. I don't think he's going to last 4 years. I think they're going to get all this stuff done that they want to get done, and they're going to say, old man staring at cloud and yelling at it, and they're going to bounce him out to the 25th, and they're going to put JD in there, and then that'll happen. I don't think he's going to last 4 years.
I have that same feeling. I mean, I just, there's all this reporting now that, Republicans are terrified. It's like, well, okay. I mean, that's the only thing. I guess they're not going to do the right thing because it's the right thing, but because he's going to take their party into the way of the Whigs, right? Rashid tweets, breaking acting FBI director confirms the DOJ has ordered him to fire 8 FBI executives and share the names. Does that, again, hair on the back of the neck, share the names of every employee who worked on the January 6th insurrection cases. Again, they were assigned. If you're at work, you do what someone tells you to do.
That's right.
Okay. What a world when a Nazi who wore the Camp Auschwitz shirt is pardoned and the people who convicted him are punished. Horrific. Joe Walsh, our friend, said Trump's carrying out his war against our justice system and our top law enforcement agency. He's hollowing out the DOJ and the FBI for pure revenge. He's firing career prosecutors and agents. His unlawful retribution will make America less safe. This is a constitutional crisis. How many people can tell you that it's something actually beyond a constitutional crisis at this point? The richest man in the world who wasn't elected having control of the United States Treasury?
Sure.
I say that's something beyond that, right? I mean, it's so we'll see if Matt's right. Sue in Rockville, real quick. Hey, Sue. Oops, did I do that?
Hi
right?
there.
Yes. Hey.
A couple of things. Of course, we're all upset. It is better to call the local numbers of your congressional people. The D.C. lines are getting swamped. We called Raskin's office, Van Hollen's office, to tell them how we feel and that we need them to act and act strong now. Use social media. The FBI has a tip line. If you call them, it's useless. Go to the FBI website, file a complaint, because they have violated our privacy. People, unelected jerks, are now spying on my Social Security information, my Medicare information. That is frankly illegal. And we can fight back as long as we have Democrats fighting with us. I have a little bit of breaking news. Would you guys like to hear it?
All right, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ontario Premier Doug Ford announced today that his province is canceling a $100 million contract with Elon Musk's Starlink because of the new tariff.
Yeah, he tore up the contract in front of cameras.
Yeah. That's right.
Yep.
We need our allies, but we mostly need people. Your silence gives them permission. Do not be silent. Do not be afraid.
Yeah.
Stand up to
That's
bullies.
right. That's right. Public outcry has, again, we're not going to win every battle, Sue, but we're going to win some of them. And, it also, by the way, they're count on them being cowards. They're afraid of losing power. I think they feel it coming, the backlash to all of this. This one, I read and watch the financial publications daily. You've been talking about the stock market all morning, Chris. They were excited about the prospect of Trump returning and being, quote, business friendly, but that's over. They're already turning on him in the reality of his chaos and incompetence unfolds. Yep. New America One News Network will soon replace NBC News, and Breitbart will swap with National Public Radio and coveted Pentagon press corps workspace under a plan shared with journalists Friday night. I mean,
they're going to rotate them out every year.
Yeah, right. Aides to Elon Musk, charged with running the government's human resources agency, have locked career civil servants out of computer systems that contain the personal data of millions of federal employees. We have no visibility into what they're doing. I mean, George Conway even said, time to hit the streets. I mean, in whatever way you do it, right? Whatever way you're allowed, we've all got to do it now. Who said what they're trying to do at DOJ and the FBI is something worse than Nixon's Saturday Night Massacre, because they're seeking revenge for law enforcement who participated in a previous investigation that is now over.
Helen Lawson.
No. Oh, that was a good guess, though. Close. Rachel Maddow.
Okay.
She needs to stay for more than 100 days, can I just say? Isn't there some clause in her contract for a constitutional crisis, national emergency / something?
She doesn't broadcast for you, Stephanie.
Well, in my mind, she does. Amy Klobuchar said, so they're now compiling a list to go after the line FBI agents from prosecutors who investigated and prosecuted felons who assaulted police officers. They're asking for a list to punish them for doing their jobs. Share this. Tell people. Illegal. Immoral. This one, 60% of all vegetables in the U.S. come from Mexico. 50% of all fruits and nuts. If you live in the U.S. Northeast or Upper Midwest, most of your electricity is powered by energy from Canada. Economists expect the 25% tariffs would cost the average U.S. family an extra $250 a month. As you said earlier, Chris, it's just all performative. Mm-hmm. It's all theater. It's all just Trump bullying.
This,
and then he backs down, right?
This 1 month reprieve of Mexico's tariffs. It shows that. It proves that. This is all a negotiation tactic, and we're being held hostage by it.
Give us the Panama Canal or something very powerful is going to happen.
Because we got that 30-day reprieve, the Dow is only down 176 points now.
This cannot be. What people did not vote for this. 38% are for the tariffs. Nobody is for pardoning violent felons who assaulted police officers. None of it. Okay. Oh, yeah, here it is. That's what he said. We're going to take back the Panama Canal. Something very powerful is going to happen. What, you're going to forget to change your diaper? Bella likes the poo jokes, I just found.
Well, I mean, who doesn't really?
Yeah. Representative Byron Donalds, which you can hear about in Frangela's latest episode, Beyond Biscuitry. Uh-huh. He's the Republican from Florida.
Yes.
He said higher prices are worth it to punish Canada. Because what? He said, I would say the risks are worth it respect to Canada. It's all about making sure they do their job on the side of the border to help secure the northern border that Joe Biden left wide open. I mean,
The northern
it's
border
the
isn't the
stupid.
problem.
Even the Wall Street Journal, who can shut them up now after they didn't endorse Donald Trump, but they're like, this is the dumbest trade war in history. It's not even any fentanyl that comes over barely from. Oh, I can't go over it again. Okay, let me pause while I powder my nose for liberal redneck.
Do you need a hug?
Yeah. You know what? I lose hope, and then I see little baby Bella and her. Did you see she has a coffee mug that's like baby powder pink, and it says professional DJ on it?
Yep.
Like she actually put a little
A sticker.
She made a sticker that
Yep.
says professional DJ.
Well, she gets paid for it.
Yeah.
It's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
That's the goal.
Yep. Squish your
That's
head.
the goal. She's not there yet.
Squish your head like a grape.
Stop
So cute.
trying to squish her head.
So cute. She is so cute. Okay, 50 minutes after the hour. Good morning, Dana Goldberg.
Good morning to you. Speaking of Kash Patel, did anyone else wake up to the headline from The Economist that says Kash Patel is a crackpot as FBI director? Would he also be a menace? I'm like, okay, no one's holding punches here.
Nope. No, that's awesome.
Well done, The Economist.
I know. I mean, Dana, this is part of it. You know, we keep saying, you know, why we promote all of you guys, all of us in this progressive space, because the truth tellers, man. We were saying, like, you know, CNN was just going to demote Jim Acosta, who left instead. I urge you. All right, so we were just talking about this breaking. Nobody voted for this, Chris. This chaos and this just relentless, exhausting. It's all performative. Yeah. So Trump has now announced a pause for a month on the tariffs to Mexico. You have to. Okay. Just remember, he's going to make everything sound like some huge victory that only he could do. Like, he will spin it, right? He'll be like, oh, look, see, I ended the trade war. You started the trade war for no reason.
He's like the arsonist that sets the fire, calls the fire department, and says, look, I saved you.
Yeah. It's like what he did with TikTok. He bans TikTok. Yeah. And then he goes, I saved TikTok. You're welcome. Oh, my God, it's exhausting. Roselle said USAID has gone dark. This is the agency China most wanted to see shuttered because of its unmatched success in maintaining key alliances. Russia has spent billions trying to undermine USAID, especially in Africa, but none of their efforts come close to this. If a CCP operative were planted in the government with the goal of causing maximum damage while staying under the radar, they couldn't have done much better than what's happening right now. There are winners right now. It's just not the United States.
Sure.
And Christian official says we are all, in fact, massively underreacting. Thank you. I agree. The lady with the big hat at the Grammys, fine, but we're in the middle of a coup. We're in a constitutional crisis.
That's Chapel
okay, whatever with the big pointy hat. Okay, there's a whatever. Pay attention, people.
The lady. She's probably even younger than Bella.
She's 3 years older than me.
She is? Okay.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Not anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table, too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him, too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.
from the holla.
Yeah.
Good morning, Trey.
Hey.
I was telling you, I said this to Chris this weekend. We all fall down sometimes. I was like, I'm scared. I don't know how to make any of this funny. And you do such a brilliant job of summing up the massive amount of curry and making it funny somehow. I mean,
well, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I'm running out of funny as well, but we'll see. We're doing the best we can. They definitely been trending more towards just like righteous anger lately than just yucks. The mood is definitely a little bit different, but I'm still doing what I can. I mean, to me, that's the only reason that I'm here, or that people listen to me, is the funny part. I'm a comedian, so I have to find some way to make it funny. But like right now, it's like I don't know how to make tariffs funny, but we're try to figure it out, I guess.
You said Trump's truly insane second and first week as president. I mean, the fact that we have not quite reached 2 weeks yet, not till noon today Eastern, are we 2 weeks into this? I know, and we thank you out here because you also did all the dumb stuff people have been saying about the LA fires. I don't know if you kept up, but he tried to flood us this weekend by opening dams that don't even go to LA. And
doesn't that also mean that California might not have that water later when they need it?
Yes, exactly.
Crops and food and stuff like that. That's probably not that important.
I mean, Trey, you talk about, obviously, some your red state folks, and obviously some polling, some anecdotal evidence, interviews are showing, some percentage of MAGA are already like, WTF, this isn't what we voted for. The biggest search on Google, people who regret voting for Trump. What are you seeing and feeling? Because in fact, no one did vote for any of this.
Right. I mean, I've seen both. I've seen a lot of people, with buyer's remorse or whatever. There's a subreddit called Leopards Ate My Face, which is basically the premise of it is basically it's, I can't believe the leopards ate my face, says woman who just voted for the Leopards Eating Faces party. Right. So it's like people who, like I saw a Latina woman be like, I'm a Latina who voted for Trump, and now, my friends and family are being deported and we're all afraid to go to work and all, that type of thing where it's like, I don't know how you didn't see that coming. I mean, the one thing I will say for Trump is he's doing the stuff he said he would do. Yeah. It's like, and I was terrified of those things. But for so long, these people are like, he's just being funny. He's just, he's just making a point. He doesn't really mean some of that stuff. And then now, here we are. But I also still see plenty of people who are, cheering or whatever because they interpret a lot of this stuff as like, he's rooting out the viper's nest, finally getting rid of the deep state, reining in government corruption and waste and all this stuff. So a lot of people are still drinking the Kool-Aid for sure.
I mean, Fox News, I mentioned this earlier, Trey, but this tweet, Fox News is saying it's patriotic to pay more for groceries. Do you know what's actually patriotic is turning off Fox News? I mean, Trump said that. Well, there's going to be some pain, but, something, America first.
See, and that's how they're talking about it already. Before we went on the air, I was saying, we were talking about maybe when it starts to hit people in their pocketbook, then they'll start to get mad because that's usually what regular people care about, which has always been the conventional wisdom. But I'm worried that when it happens under Trump, like we know is coming very soon, that it'll be like, you already see Fox News trying to get out ahead of it. Like when it happens under Trump, they'll be like, well, this is just short term. In the long term, this will be better for America. Really, this is a good thing. Whereas, like if Joe Biden was president and things went up by a fraction, of a percentage, then people lose their minds. It's unacceptable for any kind of inflation. But under Trump, they'll find a way to justify it. Is what I'm worried will happen.
Yeah, I mean, is anyone at the Super Bowl going to go? How come guacamole's $47? Isn't there? No. I mean. That's
most people don't eat avocados generally. Avocados are gay, you see.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
Duh, Stephanie.
Yeah, my bad. It's just I'm reading all of these threads. I don't know. I go to social media. I love to watch your pieces. Read your threads and what have you. RuPaul in Philly said a private citizen just committed an act of cyber terrorism and no one has done anything to arrest or detain him. This is insane. What just happened with Elon Musk, I feel like is probably one of all the things that we're distracting with. That I don't know who voted for. Putting the world's richest man in charge of our, Social Security, Medicare, all of our private information, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like from a dystopian, sci-fi apocalyptic movie or something. The world's richest man taking control of the, the most powerful government on earth, and then just getting real evil with it. But that's another example of what I was saying earlier. It's like I felt like a lot of people beforehand were like, well, Elon, he's not going to, Trump is still going to be the guy. He's still going to be the one in charge. Elon's not going to just run things. He can't, Trump won't allow that. And then now Trump's just rubber stamping whatever Elon says and playing golf all day. And Elon, Elon's got the purse strings. And I don't know. I keep wondering, like, at what point any of it's going to really matter meaning like wake some people up or lead to some kind of action or something. I guess we're still not there quite yet, but
this is why because you talk too about the media. That's why I think, you're a comedian, but you're a citizen journalist. I mean, you're putting the truth out there, even if it's in a funny, entertaining way. But I just some thoughts on the, some threads about the media. How is it, Raven says, how is it Elon Musk hijacking the Social Security system and downloading all our data on his private hard drives isn't front page news, right? It's all said. ABC World News hasn't mentioned a word about Musk gaining access to the computer system at the Treasury Department. No mention of how the Project 2025 playbook has come to life. I mean, we have both sides ourselves right into fascism, it appears to me, Trey.
Yeah, I mean, they've almost completely taken over the media, or the media that matters in recent years, between like the new media and podcasts and all that. And then like ever since Zuckerberg had his big announcement and all that stuff, you've seen these, and the TikTok thing, it getting shut down briefly, and then Trump being TikTok's savior, and all these stories since then about how those platforms are like suppressing things from the left, or things about Democrats and whatnot, and bolster. And that was already bad enough, and now it seems like it's only getting worse. And at a certain point, it's like, how do you even get out the opposition message?
And the other thing, FCC investigating NPR and PBS. NPR just tweeted yesterday, research and basic information on subjects ranging from tuberculosis surveillance to adolescent health disappeared from federal health agency websites. I mean, this is so George Orwell. Even George Orwell would be saying WTF, right? I mean...
Yes. Yeah. And it's like, I saw some of them earlier talking about how, because, they've shut down USAID right now. And I saw some people who are, on the right, who are still drinking the Kool-Aid and loving it, talking about how they're doing it. They're really doing it. They're like, Elon is rooting out the deep state oligarchs, and it's just like, but he's being the deep state oligarch right in front of your face.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Like, he's not like shadowy, nebulous deep state oligarchs are so worried about, when like the one who really is doing a bunch of deep state oligarchy stuff is just, they're carrying him out on their shoulders. And it makes me feel like I'm taking crazy pills, but
and one of the things, again, I mentioned this earlier, but Senator Coons tweeted it as well. He said, right now there's a new outbreak of Ebola in Uganda. There's another outbreak of Marburg in Tanzania. We need USAID fighting these viruses in Africa, or soon we're going to be fighting them here in the U.S. instead. This isn't making America safer. It's like we've memory holed COVID, right? Or Ebola.
Well, they are blaming USAID for COVID too. That's part of their justification for shutting it down. They've been saying that the USAID funneled all this money to the Wuhan lab that made COVID and leaked it and all that stuff. So they're like, no, this is partially in retribution for COVID. But yeah, Elon about USAID said it was a viper's nest of radical Marxists or whatnot. And it's like, oh, you mean the agency that would, probably attract people with like high levels of empathy who want to like, help poor kids around the globe and do a bunch of humanitarian efforts and fight poverty and whatnot. And it's like people with a heart, like, like you said,
I mean,
radical Marxists, same thing.
Right.
Troy, I want to get your take before we break here. I've been mentioning this all morning about Peggy Noonan's reporting. So Joe Walsh, our friend, said, who cares? Newsflash, Peggy Noonan. This isn't news. For the past 9 years, Republicans have privately and anonymously been anxious about or angry at or bad-mouthing Trump, always and only off the record. It doesn't matter what they say privately about Trump. They're cowards. I mean, I don't know if that'll change if they feel this enormous public backlash coming, because, we just did the polling on... Nobody wants this. Nobody's for the tariffs. Nobody's for letting out violent felons. Nobody's for anything he's doing.
I mean, I don't have any confidence in the whatever the remaining so-called sane Republicans to ever stand up and say anything about it. The one thing I've wondered is like when it becomes bad for business, because so many high-level business interests are on the right and pro-Trump and whatever. And like I always tell myself, it's like, well, they don't want it all to burn down because they make a lot of money from the way things work, and so surely they're opposed to that. But then other people are like, well, no, they want it to burn down temporarily so they can buy everything up for cheap and then be in even more control after that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, maybe that's what's going to happen. So any kind of sliver of hope you can find, there's always some really smart person who can just shoot that down with some, cynical realism.
We got you for the hour, but Trey does February.
That's right.
Right? The Well-Read National Comedy Tour. Well-Read, of course, is spelled wrong, because that's why it's funny.
Yes.
W-E-L-L-R-E-D.
I think it's still on the well-read my dates now are just on TreyCrowder.com.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
TreyCrowder.com. If they went to the old Well-Read site, they would still find it. But Well-Read was me and Corey and Drew. We still have a podcast. We're still good friends, but we all tour solo now.
Okay.
So
Right.
my tour is just me.
Yeah, and what else are you going to do in February? Didn't they just cancel Black History Month? And
Yeah.
Sure.
And he's going to Durham, where we were in September.
Yes. Hooray. All right, we got you for the hour. Hold, please. 19 minutes after the hour, this portion of the show brought to you by Cozy Earth. Just does not have a core principle. He has been pro-choice his entire life. Bella was just saying, he said about, I don't drink Diet Coke, but the president likes it. So, like, nothing he believes in. Healthy food, he's like, oh, well, the president likes McDonald's, so that's okay, too. Nothing he believes in, right, is he willing to stand up for?
I mean, I think it was Sanders that pointed it out. You're saying you're anti-vax, you vaccinated your children, and you're selling onesies that put doubt about vaccines on a website for an organization you started. You're making millions off of these lies.
Yeah. Didn't he say, oh, you're making me look like a shill?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it it looks like a shill and sounds like a shill.
If the golden sneaker fits. By the way, you know what? Dana Goldberg is co-host of the Daily Beans with Allison Gill, which is news with swears. That's
where we
some
get
mornings
to say
are
the
very.
F-bombs.
Yeah, today's one of those days very challenging to keep my FCC license because I cannot swear. Go ahead, Chris. Trump is blaming who? What did I say? What did I say? Trump will go ahead.
Trump is using his briefing about the airplane crash as a time to blame Obama and Biden for lower safety standards and to tout his anti-DEI orders.
Yes. Can I just have the thing labeled "Shut the up, Donnie"? Just could I have? Okay. So people that said we were politicizing by pointing out this headline earlier today: Trump fires heads of TSA, Coast Guard, and Guts Key Aviation Safety Advisory Committee. That was we shouldn't have politicized. That's too soon. No. Yeah, CNN made Bakari Sellers unlinked to that actual news story because.
Shut the up, Donnie.
What did everybody say, Dana? You knew exactly what he's going to do, right?
Yeah.
Who can I blame? It's like a comedy. You're blaming Obama. Seriously?
And what Chris said, there's a president between Obama and Joe Biden, and his name was Donald Trump.
Exactly.
Can I read from this again? This was just. I remember doing this story. This was, when did you say? January
21st.
Okay. Members of the Aviation Security Advisory Committee received a memo saying the department is eliminating the membership of all advisory committees as part of a, quote, commitment to eliminating the misuse of resources and ensuring DHS activities prioritize our national security, meaning being mean to brown people. The Aviation Security Committee, which was mandated after Lockerbie, after that, the Pan Am, will technically continue to exist, but it won't have any members to carry out the work of examining safety issues at airports and airlines. Before Tuesday, the group included representatives of all the key groups, the airlines' major unions, as well as members of group associated with the victims of the Pan Am bombing. The vast majority of the group's recommendations were adopted over the years. I naively thought, they're not going to do anything in the new administration to put security at risk. Aviation security at risk, but now I'm not so sure since Stephanie Bernstein, whose husband was killed in the Pan Am tragedy. Dana, we're a week in, and this is what it's going to be. And every tragedy that is clearly happens under his administration will. I literally said earlier, how are they going to blame Biden?
Yep.
Sure enough.
Absolutely. They're going to find a way. I just saw a meme that said January is going to make you feel all 31 days of it. This has been the longest month I think any of us have ever lived through. It's like January 72nd. I have no idea what the date is. Why is this month so long? It's been a week and a half.
I just sometimes social media, because you need to go like, am I taking crazy pills? You have to go see, who is it? Adele said alcoholic National Guard lackey and entertainment news show host at the behest of a 5-time draft dodger removed security detail from general with 43 years of service. Also considered for a demotion in retirement, the most petty and corrupted ruining this country. This is General, really? Drunky McRapey is taking away a star from General Milley. I mean, it's all going to be petty vindictiveness.
I sure hope there's some sort of lawsuit, just like our friend McCabe was able to sue after he, tried to take away his retirement the day before he was about to get them. I hope there's some recourse with stuff like this, and they just sue the hell out of him.
Yeah. I by the way, to point out again, because we have people that know, federal employees.
Right.
Hoodlum said, if you quit your federal job believing Trump will pay you 8 months of severance, DM me about buying the Brooklyn Bridge. Tim Kaine said the same thing. Do not do this.
Mm-hmm.
He'll stiff you like every contractor.
Tim Kaine's speech was fantastic.
Yeah.
Stephanie Miller.
Yeah. Evan tweets, cis straight white airline pilot, cis straight white helicopter pilot, cis straight white air traffic controller, cis straight white FAA administrator fired by cis straight white president and cis straight white billionaire. Yeah. Thank you. Bishop Swan said, welcome to America, where everyone involved in a tragedy can be white, but somehow black people and diversity get blamed. And our friend Black Knight said 3% of airline pilots are black, 93% of airline pilots are white, but DEI is to blame. Yeah. I mean, and here we go, Trey. J.D. Vance said, first of all, check out this gaslighting. The president made very clear he wasn't blaming anyone. Did he? Because that's not what I picked up. But he was being very explicit about the fact that DEI policies have led our air traffic controllers to be short-staffed. No, you've led air traffic controllers to be short. This is a scandal. Thankfully, it's a scandal the president has stopped.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow, Trey. You see what's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as that happened, we all knew that DEI was going to be the boogeyman, regardless of what happens. Like, even just like Mayor Pete having been in charge of transportation and being gay, just like that. They're like, they don't even need that much to just blame. Just in general, just the existence of DEI, means that bad things can happen. And when Trump had a week before he had disbanded the Aviation Safety Commission or whatever, and all the, they didn't even have a director of the FAA apparently when this happened.
Hiring freeze.
They did all this stuff that would possibly have, material consequences. Then when something bad happens, they just, still blame the people before them. And that's what I'm saying. It's like it's part of what I was saying about earlier, like if it had been a Democrat in office when that happens, like people on the right would never stand for that. It'd be like, no, you're the president. And, the buck stops with you. But when it's Trump and it's them, that's totally fine to still, blame the last guy or the last Democrat in charge.
See, this is why you're so good at messaging, Trey, because you talk like real people talk in a lot of states. Palmer Report said, keep your messaging simple. Trump fired everyone in charge of airplane safety, and a week later, planes started crashing into each other. That's it. That's the messaging. Don't get bogged down disputing Trump's false claims. Just blame him in short and repeatable sentences. I mean, otherwise, how do we withstand this onslaught of just horrible, actions and lies, right? I mean, you have to. What's your advice for people?
I mean, I don't know. Other than just keep, running your mouths about it. That's what I intend to do. And I mean, like the Democrat, like people keep saying, like, where are the Democrats? And sometimes I feel that way, but then other times I'm like, well, I mean, I see plenty of them complaining about things or talking about it, saying it's bad, and it's just we were talking earlier about the media and the current state of it, and they don't have any, the MAGA has control of every single facet of government right now. So other than just trying to hammer on the messaging and just completely abandon the old, propriety and decorum when it comes to politics, like our friends on the other side. It's like, no, talk about it like it is the way it is, i.e., them burning the house down with all of us inside of it. You know what I mean? Like, talk about it in that fashion, with that tone.
That's why I loved AOC. She just like, no, I'm not going to the inauguration. He's a rapist.
Right.
It's just,
FSTV is partnering with Means TV to bring you Means Morning News Bites. Host Sam Sachs delivers anti-capitalist news and analysis. Tune in for working class news, cutting through corporate noise every Wednesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. and 4:40 p.m.
fight against coronavirus isn't over. We still have to slow the spread and do our part. Let's wear face masks in public. Stay 6 feet or more from others. Follow state and local guidelines. Wash our hands frequently. And stay home when we feel safe. For ourselves, for our loved ones, for our future. Let's move forward together. Learn more at coronavirus.gov.
I'm Ashley Woodard Henderson, and you are watching Free Speech TV.
What Donald Trump is also doing is he is signaling to all of these folks across the country, very dangerous people, by the way, that now have been pardoned, and their other militia groups, that he is going to protect them. He is building himself a private army and militia of people across the country that are willing to do whatever it is that Donald Trump says. And I think we've got to take this very seriously and know that what he is doing is damaging and harming our national security infrastructure while building his own and supporting those militia, those white nationalist groups that are supporting him across the country. It's really dangerous.
Yeah. Thank you, Representative Robert Garcia. Oh, another one of Trump's pardons, person back in jail for 10 years. Missouri woman pardoned by Trump for January 6th, sentenced in deadly drunk driving crash. Another fun fact, so far 3 of the Trump-pardoned J6 MAGA terrorists have since been arrested on child porn charges. I believe 2 have been killed in police shootouts. We're not even 2 weeks in, Trey.
Yep. Yep, buckle up. You know, it's what they do. Flood the zone, overwhelm everybody with insanity so you feel paralyzed to, do anything at all about any one facet of it. And it's pretty effective. And I know that's I feel like it's been a long time since the Democrats were in quite the same political position that MAGA's in right now with the amount of consolidated power they have. But it's also a stark contrast. Anytime Democrats have power, it's all they do is hem and haw. They don't, you know what I mean? They spin their wheels a lot. They do a lot of talking or whatnot. And it's this illustrates, it's even, if you really want to, you can just do whatever you want, at least for a while, force people to try to legally stop you and see if they can, you know what I mean? That kind of power. It's just do stuff. And,
our new Senator Schiff just said FBI Director, not yet, nominee, Kash Patel, promised no retribution. The next day, we have this grotesque purge at the FBI. Bondi said she would examine pardons on a case-by-case basis. Then Trump gave 1,550 pardons overnight. Their confirmation commitments mean nothing. I mean, this is such a charade, these confirmation hearings. They all just lie. And, I mean, I don't know what you make of the FBI purge as he's not even, confirmed yet, after he just said, I mean, it's them saying we can do whatever the F we want, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Yes. And also that there's no, even the slightest bit of opposition is not welcome. It's loyalist only, hardliners only, which was, a part of Project 2025. Because try to make it quick. My old day job when I started comedy, I worked for the federal government, but I worked for the U.S. Department of Energy and for 7 years. And so what I always used to tell myself was even these political appointees at the top, they come and go, but the people who do the day-to-day work are lifers that have been there forever, and they don't really change much about how they still do the job and get things done. And as long as those people are there, it'll probably be mostly okay, but they're working to change. They're actively trying to get rid of those people.
Yeah.
And replace them all with just true believers. And it's, very frightening, the implications of that as far as I'm concerned.
And the whole, we keep repeating the cruelty is the point. We were, talking to you about the situation out here in California. Richard said Trump ordered the opening of 2 California dams. Anyone who knows anything about the local situation says this won't help fight wildfires, but it risks wiping out homeless encampments and farming equipment. The water will probably just evaporate in a lake. I mean, how much you want to bet that was a bonus for them, flooding a homeless encampment? I mean,
yeah, for sure. I'm sure that was a feature and not a bug. But also, it's it's just the simplicity of how they think. It's well, there were fires there. Water is good for fire. You need more water, so they just dump a bunch of water all over the place, not even in a way that helps. And they're that must have been beneficial. And then I was also reading that, in California especially, we don't just have water that we don't need for things or that wouldn't be useful later. So when it's actually in terms of agriculture and irrigation, a little further down the road, it's possible that we could be in a real tight spot because of that water having been just wasted for no reason.
I saw it on Friday. Armand said, I feel like it should be a bigger news story that Trump ordered the release of 2 dams worth of water for literally no reason whatsoever. Just spite, right?
A lot of people also don't realize, they think of like the breadbasket of America being like, Iowa and Nebraska and the plains and stuff like that. And they grow a lot of stuff, a lot of corn and stuff that's subsidized and other things. But like California is arguably the real breadbasket of the country. So it's like harming California crops while also making it harder to buy things from anywhere else, just doesn't seem like a recipe for success to me. But again, good luck getting any sympathy from anybody else elsewhere on that, because California is, Sodom and Gomorrah and devil country and all that.
By the way, California, you didn't suppose it will affect the cost of housing in America when the price of lumber from Canada, currently 46% of all lumber for sale in the United States, skyrockets due to Trump's new tariffs. I mean, it's on and on. Angry staffer said, Trump starts pointless trade war. Canada threatens to retaliate by withholding electricity from the U.S. Trump's press secretary says this is fine because Jesus didn't have electricity. We are literally in the dumbest possible timeline.
Yeah. My best friend from back home works construction. He's very anti-Trump, but he was talking about like lumber and how it's going to go up. And I'll be interested to hear from him how, because this is in Tennessee, and again, he hates Trump, but pretty much every single person he works with is MAGA. And I'll be interested to hear from him how they respond to that happening. When it does, when lumber goes up that much, see what they actually say about it. Be a nice little bellwether, I think.
Larry Summers, who was not a flaming liberal, it said of all the countries in the world, we now be deciding to launch economic war on Canada. I just don't get the logic of these policies. And make no mistake, this is a regressive tax on American consumers. I mean, I guess you can say it over and over again, but I don't know what to say. It's like I guess we're gonna have to feel it, But you already have Trump and Fox News spinning it that it's going to be patriotic because we're all making America great again, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm worried about. Yes, it's like you tell yourself, it's like, well, when regular people and everybody else like starts to feel this on a day-to-day basis, then it will matter. There will be some pushback and whatnot. But like we said, Fox News are already doing their job, being dutiful, getting out in front of it already, making it sound patriotic. And it wouldn't surprise me if that works, I hope not, but we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, Canada in particular, it's like I never thought I'd see us go after start some stuff out of nowhere with Canada in particular.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's Canada ever done
to us but wait,
to warrant
Pete
that?
Hegseth has said invading Mexico is on the table.
Now see, that doesn't surprise me as much. Like, obviously that would be terrible, but there's a lot of people think of Mexico and they think of like cartels and fentanyl on the border and whatever else, and I know how unfair a lot of that is, but it's like optically it's different, whereas with Canada it's just also look, they're also white. Canada is I just didn't think they would make but I guess they're also to a lot of people it's like they're like socialist and Frenchy or whatever, so that's bad. I don't know, I'm trying to make sense of it all.
They're French and gay.
Yes.
Yeah, Brad tweeted, they'll never be able to overturn Roe. They did. They won't try to overturn gay marriage. They are. They're not actually Nazis. They're Zig Heiling in public. They would never put people in concentration camps. They're being built right now. We are not overreacting. How do we... I mean, again, I think, Trey, this is why, because you make it so funny and entertaining and relatable, but, we need like 11 billion of you, So I just, give up, because like I keep saying, like I get inspired when I like watch one of your things. It makes me laugh, but also I feel like I keep saying it, Trey, but like humor is our power. It's what fascists hate. They hate being laughed at, and also it gives us our power back, right?
Yeah, you'd like to think so, but it's like that's even in the comedy for a long, long time. In the comedy world, it was like there was no. You get asked questions sometimes like, are there any funny conservative comedians? Or, that type of like, are there even any conservative comedians? Like it was the conventional wisdom that barely even existed. And now that because of, the Rogan verse and all of that stuff, it's like they've taking control of a big chunk of even the comedy world in terms of like the messaging and whatnot. And it's just I never really thought I'd see the day. But yeah, with the I don't know the importance of I just think it's you try to laugh to keep from crying type of thing, or screaming might be more apt rather than screaming into a pillow. Laughing is better than that. It just makes it more palatable to people who are otherwise really freaking out, and then they can just go back to freaking out after chuckling nervously for a moment. That's
Cal in Atlanta, you're on with Trey. Go ahead.
Stephanie,
Hi,
how
Cal.
you doing?
Hi, good, Cal. You're on with Trey. Go ahead.
Hey, listen, black people, we not doing no marching. We're in our mind, this is exactly what was going to happen. Yeah. We're used to danger. We live it. It's like, it's nothing is shocking, nothing is surprising. I mean, I'm looking for them to start talking about, some form of slavery other than prison. White folks are just going to have to catch it beyond belief before they understand that black women told y'all ass.
Yep. I just talked to
what was going to happen.
I just talked to Frangela Friday. They joke about they're on the top of, I told you so mountain. But, Cal, I sent them this tweet about Republican women getting fired in the Trump administration. Are like, oh, well, we thought it was only going to, be based on race. It's like, no, this is what happens when you vote on hate, right? It's like you were talking, Trey, about. We mentioned it a million times. Latino people go, oh, he doesn't mean my undocumented, friends and family, right?
Well, because they think they're like, no, he's just talking about like criminals, just like violent criminals and drug addicts. That's who he means. And it's like you don't understand that they don't differentiate between you and that. Like you are that just by virtue of being, a Mexican with an accent or without. It doesn't matter. That's how they look at everybody. Or it's like people that. Like the Vex or whoever, they try to be like one of the good ones. And I saw somebody on the internet say, like the good tokens or whatever, but eventually tokens get spent. It's like when Ann Coulter told him to his face, like, obviously I'd never vote for you because you're Indian, but as far as they go, you're not so bad. And it's like, that's how it's always gonna be. Anybody that collaborates or anyone who isn't a straight, cis, white, Christian man with money, like a lot of anybody and even those people, I think you should still push back because, just because of empathy and decency. But like any other type of person, I do not understand.
Yeah, I think Mark Cuban said, I'm going to put my rich guy hat on and say, well, this, it won't hurt me, but this is going to be bad for, maybe that's what it takes. This is going to be bad for a lot of people. But I mean,
right.
That's why I think, J.B. Pritzker is one of our good communicators because he's like, I'm a billionaire. I'm a rich, this isn't going to hurt me, but this is why I'm fighting for you. And this is, I love the way, like, Ayanna Pressley, I think, is messaging clearly. Like, I keep going back to it, Trey, this morning, because I really feel like this Elon Musk thing is the most urgent, the scariest, but also the most understandable. Ayanna Pressley said there's absolutely no reason Elon Musk needs access to the system that pays your Social Security check. This is terrifying and not normal. Right? Somebody else tweeted, I can't believe Elon Musk hacking the Social Security system and downloading all our data on his private hard drives isn't front page news. This is straight up billionaire coup.
Of course. And it's like before the inauguration, all that, whenever Doge first became a thing and whatnot, I heard people, my co-host on my political podcast, Weekly Skews, who was literally one of the smartest people I've ever met, but he was saying, he was like, it's just some like thing they've spun up out of nowhere to give him a title and something to do. It's not like going to have the force of a real agency. They just created it out of thin air to give him an office so he feels important. But it's like, it seems to have more power than any other.
I know. And he's not
Washington
elected.
Right now.
He's not elected. He's not Senate confirmed. He's not appointed by Congress.
That's kind of what I was saying. It's like, that's the type of thing that we would have been told over our entire lives that like isn't possible in this country or shouldn't be because of checks and balances and everything and bureaucracy. Nothing like that could happen, but they're proving it's like, no, you just have to, if you just do it, like if you just want to, and just make it happen and dare somebody to stop you.
Yeah. That's what we got a message. Is this what you voted for? An unelected billionaire in charge of your Social Security payments? I mean, is that what you voted? And having all your private information. I mean, it's Anyway, all right, 48 minutes after the hour, this portion of the show brought to you by the desperately needed...
Stephanie Miller.
Yeah, it is. The Stephanie Miller Show. Oh, our new best friend, Senator Whitehouse, I think quoting Petty Noonan's piece, said Republican lawmakers, besides themselves with anxiety, have concluded they're on a ship with a captain in an extended manic phase. Missing punchline, they have near zero spine to push back. Yeah. I mean, oh my God, Trey, that is going to be America's epitaph, Republicans privately said. Right?
Yeah, right. I know. And the idea, it's like, oh, they've just now realized that. It's like, where have they been for the past, almost decade now? Like, how can they be? And yeah, they've been silent the whole time, and I'm sure that will continue. Anybody literally anyone who's ever been on the Republican side who did speak out against him or stand up to him, or whatever, has been exiled in, post haste. Kinzinger and Cheney and all them, like, you don't last afterwards. They've sent that message very clearly, and I'm sure, the rest of them are just going to continue to go to DC cocktail parties, been like, I don't know what his problem is. It's crazy.
We said at the same time. Yeah, I mean, someone threaded, this is exactly what happens when the most powerful man in the world is told by the most powerful court that he can't get in trouble for anything he does on the job. Anybody who told you that we're going to be guardrails can go themselves, right?
It's like, well, some of these things he's done, people have been like, well, he can't do this. This is illegal. He can't do this. It's like, who is going to stop him and how? Because of the court he has. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying you should try, but like, they've given every indication that they'll just let him do whatever he wants, and he's gotten that message too. So,
yeah. And by the way,
here we are.
I mean, Rashid on Twitter, doesn't mean we should stop saying it. He said, reminder once more, the president has zero authority to reallocate funds already appropriated by Congress for a particular purpose. An unelected billionaire oligarch has even less than zero authority to hijack and reallocate funds. This is a coup, a hostile takeover, a constitutional crisis. But, Trey, to your point, he's outrun the courts. Why do you think he's back in the White House? He knows he can always outrun the courts, stay out of prison.
And the other option, because it is appropriated by if Congress would take their own job back, if they would stand up and that Congress is ran by the Republicans right now, if they said hey, no, this is our thing, you can't just do this. If they push back on it the way that it's supposed to work with checks and balances, then that might also have some, impact. But they're not going to do that because of what we already talked about. They're spineless.
Right. So that's why it's important that we're loud. If they feel the public backlash and see the polling like that, that's all. I think at this point, it's all we can do. I know we have one of our callers, talking about Dems should impeach. It's like, well, okay, we know we don't have the votes, but you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm for all of the above at this point, and hope that the Republicans, I don't think they'll find a spine, Trey, but you're right. If they're endangered and, feel their whole party going down,
That, and maybe a lot of them represent rural districts that will be impacted by these. We're talking about people, Fox News might spin it to where, it's patriotic to just, feel the economic pressure and deal with it, stiff upper lip type thing. But if enough Republican districts are harmed economically by these policies and that type of thing, they start getting pushback from their own constituents, and then maybe it swells up from there. At least a little bit of resistance on their side, maybe, but I'm not overly optimistic.
And I think this could happen. Yeah, this could be the break glass thing. I just got to end with this because I started with it. Attorney Ryan says Elon Musk currently controls the U.S. Treasury payment system. He has no legal authority to even look at those systems, much less have total unchecked control over them. So, Trey, that's all we can do is what you're doing. Get out there and just message, be loud. If the media won't do their job, we got to do the job. We got to call our representatives. And it does feel a long way away, doesn't it? The midterms, right? Because I mean, yes, we could impeach if we get a blue tsunami. But 2 years, a lot of people are going to, be dead. But anyway.
Yeah, sure. That's also assuming that elections still exist in the way that we're used to, so, yeah.
Yeah. One way you take your power back is you go see Trey Crowder, the liberal redneck. TreyCrowder.com is the website. He's got a bunch of dates coming up. And you make me feel better. You're one of my bright lights, sir.
Likewise, I feel the same. That's all we got. Got to commiserate. That's all we can do. But thank you. All right. It's always a pleasure.
Love you, liberal redneck. There we go.